Hello, welcome back to the Timesink Anime Podcast, the show recommended by 4 out of 5 doctors to make you healthier.
4 out of 5 doctors. What does the other doctor say?
We don't talk about that guy.
Yeah, that guy can go suck a chode.
This is week 11 of fall 2018.
Yep, we are finally getting close to the end game. I'd say about 1-2 more weeks, actually.
Yeah, that's literally how much time there is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, because most shows are going to be ending, it seems, next week, but I always consider a season to be about 13 weeks if you consider it a quarterly thing. There's 52 weeks in a year, so... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, wait, is it 52 or 54?
I don't know, man.
Well...
I just pretended I knew. I thought you were gonna know.
I'm pretty sure it's 52, but if I'm wrong, I'm sure there's nobody who's gonna correct me on that front. But anyway...
Okay, so, this week, there was an article about Funimation. The Funimation president recently issued a statement about why they didn't end up partnering with Crunchyroll more. Mm-hmm. Apparently Crunchyroll is, they only work in certain regions, mm-hmm. and the president of Funimation said that he wanted to expand globally. Like they want to put their stuff everywhere, but that was a limitation they had for Crunchyroll, and they said he said Crunchyroll wasn't budging, so they just decided to go off and do their own thing.
Now, I don't know how much credence there is to that, because I don't know exactly how, Crunchyroll functions in other countries. I only have my experience here in the States, and then also, to some degree, Canada, because Canadian YouTubers and stuff, like Mother's Basement and stuff, have talked about, yeah, Crunchyroll's never really been much of an issue for them.
I have heard people in other countries have problems with certain shows. Like, it'll say, this content is not available in your region.
Oh, yeah, okay, so it is sort of like YouTube, with their region locks and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense, different things that people are allowed to stream or not allowed to stream, but at the same time, it's just a little, okay, I mean... I don't necessarily know how well Sony is going to be able to do that, though. You'd imagine that they'd have their own stipulations and stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not the only reason, mm-hmm. but it definitely sounds like a valid reason.
I'd agree. It sounds certainly like a valid reason. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it still.
I'm still pissed. I mean, as a consumer, I want everything on Verve. Yeah. It's just more convenient that way for me.
Absolutely. As a consumer, I can definitely see why. From a business standpoint, I can also see why it's a valid reason as well. If they are trying to expand more globally and stuff like that, and of course, it's just all in the interest of money. You want to make money when you're a corporation, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if they get more money, they'll be able to finance more things, hire more personnel, things like that, and those aren't inherently bad things. I think.
I'm not too upset about it. It just means I have to spend an extra $5 a month, which is 2 less monsters.
Yeah, I've got bills to pay. Yeah. But other than that, Gen Fukunaga also said something recently about how about Evangelion, right?
Oh yeah, he said Evangelion was, and I quote, putting it on Netflix was a disservice to anime fans.
I don't know the context of that quote.
I think it was along the lines of they could have done the promotion better for it. And when it's on Netflix is known, at least in America, to not be 100% faithful to anime fans.
Yeah, but at the same time, they put on some really good shows on Netflix. Devilman is one of the big ones this year. That was
Netflix funded, right?
Yeah, that was Netflix funded. That's a huge deal. Then there's Agretzko. There's quite a few shows where they're not Netflix originals, even though Netflix certainly tries to say they are, like Seven Deadly Sins. But at the same time, there's some really good shows that do go on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed by Netflix just because of their, in America, you gotta release it all as one thing.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
But, I mean, at the same time, they're also funding a lot of cool anime, so I'm not super upset about it.
Now, the major concern I do have for Evangelion going to Netflix is, like I said last week, the possibility of a redub, rather than, even though Evangelion already has a dub, there's no reason to necessarily redub it. But, on the other hand, I think it'd be really cool to see all these all these original voice actors like Spike Spencer, Tiffany Grant, and Allison Keith, all of them like reprising their roles in the redub of the show. I really want to see that happen, and actually, apparently, there have been hashtags circulating around about that, like Spike Spencer is Shinji, and Tiffany is Asuka, things like that. Just so if you guys are fans of the original dub cast and you want to see them redubbed in Evangelion, go ahead and support them. I certainly will.
Yeah, go start a it was like change.org petition.
That apparently actually was a thing. Like I think one of the voice actors actually tried to like pass the word around. I think it was actually the voice actors for Asuka. But...
I just love seeing those because like I mean sometimes they're for good reasons, but I feel like 90% of change.org petitions are dumb.
Yeah. I can think of a few of them, especially relating to anime, that are actually kind of freaking stupid. But I don't know, maybe you guys have opinions on this. But anyway, enough of us ranting and raving about this stuff. Let's get right onto the stuff that everybody wants to talk about.
So first of all, no Goblin Slayer this week because I'm assuming they're behind in schedule. So they're A, taking a week off, and B, also after this week off, they're doing a recap episode.
Yeah, which they shouldn't have to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is. Like, I'm assuming, and they're not just putting the recap episode in the middle of the week or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're taking a week off and then also making a recap episode. Apparently it's from, like, the viewpoint of Cowgirl.
Which that could be interesting. If it's anything like the Recreators recap episode, then I'd actually be totally fine with that. I mean, but at the same time, Recreators was like a diamond in the rough situation.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Most recap episodes are just boring retells.
Yeah, like, with Recreators, they had known that they were going to do a recap episode at some point, so they wrote it in and had some fun with it. I don't have high hopes that that's going to be the case.
No. But whatever. I mean, like, I understand that making anime is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need a break, and that's what recap episodes are for.
I mean, hell, they even delve into that topic in Shirobako, which, by the way, if you haven't watched Shirobako, do yourself a favor and watch Shirobako.
Good insight to the industry.
Uh-huh.
So, first up, we have a certain magical index.
Okay. I just want to point out that Index, the first thing that she says is, I'm so hungry I could collapse, I could die, yet somehow she still has the energy to jump up and bite Toma in the head like she always do.
She's a goddamn drama queen.
Yeah.
When it comes to food, anyways.
Yeah, damn it, Index. You're a brat.
I was really surprised that they straight up called it the Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, like, Academy City is like this made-up city, so I figured they'd make up a made-up palace or something. But like, no, that's just the royal family's housing.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, they introduced the queen and her 3 daughters. And can I just say the queen is quite possibly one of the best characters to get introduced in recent episodes of this.
I love the queen.
She is so awesome.
Long live, or God save the queen.
Yeah. We mean it, man. But anyway, I just want to point out the queen, like, what makes her so funny is, like, you just overhear her talking about, like, why can't I just wear a tracksuit when she was getting ready to have, like, a fancy meeting? Just, the queen is great. But we get introduced, like, immediately as well to the 3 princesses, Rimia, Carissa, and Villian. And I also want to point out that Toma was like, wow, I'm surrounded by all these famous people. I have to take a picture of this.
Yeah. Toma's harem growing to royalty now.
Yeah, just it now expands to royalty. He'll be getting the royal treatment here pretty soon.
I loved Carissa there.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, aren't you taking a picture?
Her little, like, deadpan, like, peace sign.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Yotsuki from the Monogatari series.
Yeah. Yay!
Yay! I love her. What I didn't notice the first time through is that apparently Toma's phone has a Gekuda charm on it.
Does it?
Yeah, it's got a Gekuda charm, which means that Makoto recently had to have given him a Gekuda charm at some point, because who else would he?
I mean, or he could have gotten it at some point. They're fucking everywhere, apparently.
I mean, but come on, seriously, it had to have been a gift from freaking Misaka. I imagine so, because
you think she would give him a gift?
Maybe it's like, she'd probably have to paint it off as, I had one extra, so
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, exactly, because I can't
just take it already.
Just take it, you
Stupid.
idiot. It pretty much, yeah. But, yeah, that was like the big thing that they were setting up. They actually... And then, of course, the Queen is just the whole time, it's like, how dare you take pictures without me, the headliner.
Yeah,
and
I love the relationship between the Queen and her knight.
Yeah, she just freaking punches her.
Oh, he's like, freaking football tackles her.
Yeah, just knocks her.
Just tackle a Queen, that's fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, no problems at all here. But then we get into the real meat of the episode after they kind of ease us in with all this funny stuff. Talking about something called the Eurotunnel Blast, which I think they brought up a couple episodes ago, or in the most recent episode.
Yeah, it was like a terrorist attack.
Yeah, I imagine so. But basically, what they were talking about is how they think the French Orthodoxy was behind it, or the Romans. But then they point out immediately, oh, by the way, it's not just these organizations we have to worry about, it's also domestic terrorism.
Yep. Hooray! Domestic terrorism by adorable girls.
Yeah, exactly. New Light, as they call themselves. I don't know why they call themselves that exactly. Maybe it has something to do with their end game.
Well, they're saying they want to remake Britain.
Yeah.
They want to make a new Britain.
Whatever the hell that means. Terrorist goals are always so vague. And usually virtuous sounding. I mean, they have to recruit people somehow.
Yeah, right. Brainwashing.
Exactly. But I love, again, I cannot emphasize how much I love the Queen in this episode, because she is just talking about, like, breaking down the duties, like, of how everybody's going to be handling this. And then Toma, like, of course wants to get involved in it, but then says, it wouldn't be a good idea to involve civilians in this. And he's like, okay, I'll just crash here then. However, if you stayed here without serving the interests of the country, we will be requesting money from you at a later date. So she basically just blackmails him into helping.
She's so snarky.
I freaking love her. She's one of the best parts of this episode, I think.
Yeah, most of I think like 80% of the episode was mostly comedy.
Yeah.
This time anyway, so it wasn't like serious until like the little end bit.
Yeah, like, I mean, and it was actually, we got reintroduced to another character. She was the blonde chick with the big boobs. I forgot her name, actually.
Ursula? Is that her name?
No, I don't. Oriana.
Okay.
Ursula is another person. That's Ursula Aquinas. But, yeah, she starts trying to toy with Toma once again. Because, again, harem, man.
Yeah. I don't really consider her part of his harem. I think she just wants to fuck with, like, young boys.
Yeah, exactly.
I love her magic style, too.
Like the paper totems.
Makes shortcuts and writes them in a booklet.
Oh, yeah, and then she just releases them. And
why doesn't everybody do that? That sounds like the best way to use magic.
I don't know.
Instead, they're just like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
Okay, let's not bring up the awkward thing. That was so fucking stupid. But apparently we get introduced to a few of the members of New Light. The first one being Lesser, the most incompetent terrorist I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Was that the girl in the restaurant?
Yeah, is she freaking not? How do you lose track of the suitcase that was right next to you?
Well, she didn't lose track of it. She just lost track of which one was hers. Because, also, why the fuck does everybody in that restaurant have the same goddamn suitcase?
Yeah.
There was like 3 different suitcases in that restaurant. They're all the exact same.
Alright, but hers was literally right next to her, and she still managed to knock it over.
Yeah, and she seems like a little bit of an airhead.
Yeah, and she's like, wait a second, which one's mine? And then she just holds up the restaurant and takes up all...
Nobody fucking move!
And she just takes all 3 of them. Just like, okay, I'm pretty sure you could have done the logical thing of, I don't know, opening the suitcase.
I don't know, I like the panic terrorism.
Yeah. But she's a freaking moron.
So yeah, instead of opening just the suitcases at there, it would take like 5 seconds. She just takes them all.
Yeah, just, excuse me, I think your suitcase got mixed with mine. Could I just check it really quick? Yeah. Something, kind of rational and level-headed. No, I'm just gonna panic and take all the suitcases.
Threaten your life.
Yeah, and just like, because of that, everybody immediately knows, they're in town, they're on the run. Yep. Let's fight them.
Yeah, and I love Oriana's solution of just like, there she goes. Just throw a bomb at her.
Yeah, it's just like,
it's fine.
Are you sure that was necessary? But, what was even funnier is the another one who did seem a little bit more level-headed. She had like silver hair, and then the Amaxa show up. All of them are just like, "Hey, we know where you are. We found you somehow." Itsuo is wearing a different outfit, and she looks good in a business jacket.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising in anime when characters switch outfits.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least in shonen anime, where they almost have the same outfit like the entire
pretty
show.
much. And then I actually thought it was also really cool, like how she gets the crap kicked out of her, like in a fight, but then, and for one thing, the animation in that, when she's like stumbling about, there was actually, you could kind of feel the weight of that with how it was animated. It was actually really cool as well when she basically managed to outwit her in a kind of gruesome way, as far as I can tell. She basically like used illusion magic to make her think that the freaking train had curved or something, and then she got killed by a train. That's the only thing I can think of. Because
I don't think she got killed by a train.
She saw a train coming and didn't freaking move.
Well, we didn't actually see a train. We just saw like a bright light.
Yeah.
So it might have been... When I first watched it, I thought that, what's-her-face? Saint Lady.
Kanzuki?
Kanzuki. I thought Kanzuki beat her up and then went up to beat the other one up.
Maybe. Like... I
doubt she got ran over by a train, because that's... it looks like we're setting up for these characters to not be killed.
Yeah.
Because it's like when Toma saves the other one. Although, I mean, I don't know, the members of...
the Amaxa?
No, the one team with the
Item.
girls.
Item,
some of those, or one of them died?
Frenda got freaking decapitated.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're not shy about killing people, so who knows?
Yeah, I really don't know. But I thought that was kind of cool. Like, okay, she realized that she couldn't beat her in a head-on fight, so she kind of outsmarted her, which I thought was interesting. Yeah.
Apply directly to the forehead.
That's stupid. But then... Oriana and Toma keep chasing Lesser, and they manage to get her to this building where she gets, like, knocked, like, she ends up flying off because, Oriana, like, breaks the window or something. It's like, oh, you've got nowhere to run. Oh, shit, there's glass coming out.
I'm gonna die. Yeah, when they caught her, they eventually just cornered her. I feel like that was the point where the episode got really serious.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, they caught her, that's fine. They're just going to get the thing from her. And she's like, well, if you want to shut me up, do it now. And then someone fucking almost...
A sniper freaking shoots at her.
Almost kills her.
Yep. But...
with Robin Hood, I think they called it?
Yeah, Robin Hood, which is, as it turns out, it's a type of magic arrow assigned to people who work directly for Carissa, the second daughter, who I guess... hates the way her mother is running things and wants to overthrow her.
She's gonna stage a coup.
Yeah, it's exactly
overthrow the entire British
and
monarchy.
which she has the ability to do that now because she has the original Cortana sword, which apparently is powerful enough to give somebody the powers of the Archangel Michael.
It make him really strong.
Which, if I know how the series runs, and I do, Toma's going to figure out a way to beat her.
Toma's going to punch her in the mouth.
Yeah, the Toma special. You can't go wrong with it, like, at all. But, I don't know, I think we're going to be seeing the conclusion of this arc in maybe the next 1 or 2 episodes.
Apparently this arc's supposed to be more than 3 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this arc will...
One of our watchers commented that, so...
Huh. Interesting. Well, good to know. We'll be figuring out the conclusion of the arc in winter 2019, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. This arc is actually going at a nice speed. This arc doesn't feel rushed.
Yeah, this arc doesn't give me as much whiplash as the freaking.
You can actually tell what's going on.
Yeah, it doesn't feel nearly as rushed as the Battle Royale arc or even the Aqua bit. Which I thought the Aqua bits were fine when it dealt with Itsuwa and stuff like that, but the actual Aqua himself was just not that interesting.
Yeah.
We brought that up last week or a couple weeks ago. But anyway, on to our next show, Banana Fish. Now, let's just start off with an epic judo shot from Blanca. But, I mean, this episode was just... It was actually kind of heartbreaking to watch, actually, because this was basically Ash's goodbye to Eiji. This entire episode is what they were setting up for.
And just trying to take responsibility.
Yeah,
it's with the art style and the situations they're in, it's really easy to forget that Sing is a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah, he's younger than... And he's
a boss.
Yeah, that's actually something, like, he actually comes full circle with it, because last episode he asked Ash, did you ever regret becoming a boss? And then Ash says, all the time, which here, Sing says, yeah, I really wish I'd never become a boss.
But he's taking responsibility for it in the only way you can think.
Yeah, which is basically challenging Ash to a fight.
Yeah, which I'm assuming it's supposed to be a fight to the death.
Yeah.
And he's kind of offering up his head as, like, well, you can go ahead, if you kill me, then that settles it. Like,
yeah.
Everything's done between our gangs.
Yeah, basically. And then, of course, I liked the conversation, though, as well, between Blanca and Ash when Ash was just by himself with Blanca, like, after he was recovering from a fucking gunshot wound. He basically... Blanca says stuff to the effect of, well, how you couldn't even protect him, he doesn't exist solely for your salvation. And Ash takes the gun out of Blanca's pocket and starts just randomly shooting, probably intentionally missing him.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's pissed at him. He just wants to fire the gun.
Which Blanca remains pretty calm in that situation. And actually, a nice little attention to detail, it cuts over to the guys on the other side of the wall. They're, like, ducking and, like, covering their ears.
Yeah.
You know, like, how... It's interesting to think that, oh yeah, bullets can actually travel through walls on occasion. So, just a nice little detail there.
So, Lau got pissed at Ash.
Yeah.
Because Sing is saying, after he challenged him to the fight, Lau's like, no, I can't accept this guy. He killed our men for no reason. And I'm just thinking, like... No, there was a very good reason.
Yeah, my whole thing was just like, dude, it's like, oh my god, shut up, Lau. Yeah, it's like
he's not justified at all in his firing a gun back at the guys who fired a gun at him.
Yeah, and who intentionally tried to kill him, and then, but I don't know. Like, I can understand, like, Lau's frustration, like, because those were probably people he knew and were somewhat close to, so they might have even been his friends. And he just gunned him down. Like, justifiably so, but still, that's kind of difficult to get over.
It's probably even harder to get over, because, like, he didn't just shoot him. He shot him, and then shot him, and then shot him, and shot him, and shot him.
They were already dead. And then Ash also shot Lau in the hand, which, I don't know. Lau just thinks that he's just a complete, cold, heartless monster, which even Ash seems to think at times.
Yeah.
But... We got a really cool scene, though, later. Because Lau gets kicked out of the gang, which he says, good to hear. Which I don't like that. That's foreboding.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he's going to go to Yetlung.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get a cool scene, actually, between Kane and Ash, when Kane goes to talk to him and basically say, go see Eiji. Like, just, you're going to regret it if you don't. And then Ash just breaks down, and then he says, I see. Even you fall apart sometimes. And for the first time, we actually see Kane's eyes, granted, behind his sunglasses.
Is it?
Yeah.
The first time?
I'm almost certain, yeah, because
I can't remember another time.
Yeah, he's always been wearing his sunglasses, and we actually do see, like, his eyes sort of, like, reflected in his glasses for a change, which I think is a cool directing decision, like, he finally sees Ash. Yeah. Maybe on a different, like, an eye-to-eye level.
So I'm pretty sure Ash, he was pissed off about what Blanca said, but he also realized it's kind of the truth.
Yeah.
Like, he knew having Eiji around would put Eiji in danger, but he kept like coming up with excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
To himself, pretty much, about why he needed Eiji around.
Yeah, exactly. Just like what Blanca exactly said to him was, you couldn't protect him, yet you used him to escape your own solitude, pretty much is what he said. Which, again, it was the brutal truth he needed to hear, I think. Then we get a little bit more clarity into not only Yutlung's backstory, but a little bit more into his motivations for why he does the things he does. Like, because you brought up a couple weeks ago that you just think that, oh, he just wants Ash to be on the same level. Like, he just wants Ash to be the monster.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
It is pretty much it, but there's a little bit more to that. He's envious of Ash because Yutlung had basically been from a very young age. His mother was only 10 when he was purchased by his 65-year-old dad, which, but even he admits is fucking gross, by the way. But when Yutlong was 6, he watched his brothers rape and kill his mom in front of him, which he's like, don't I have a right to hatred after all?
Yeah, after seeing all of his backstory, it kind of... His personality makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty fucked up to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, I guess I get to watch my mom be raped and killed right in front of me, and then I have to also listen to the people who did it.
Exactly.
Like I don't... That doesn't justify everything he's done, but it definitely helps you understand his reasonings a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it just kind of cements the idea that he's, I think, jealous of Ash, because Ash is still young, and Ash has found an opportunity to try and save himself. Like Blanca says, you learn to hate, but you never learn to love. You're just like me. Ash, if you kill Eiji, then Ash is just going to become another one of us, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not just jealousy. It's also if he's a monster. Yutlong realizes that he himself is a monster, and if Ash is also a monster, then it kind of helps him justify it.
Yeah,
like, oh well, I'm not the only one, so
yeah,
it's almost like companionship in a weird kind of way.
Yeah,
it's
kinship.
Giving kinship. Yeah, it's giving him someone to relate to, but if Ash isn't that, then he doesn't really have anyone anymore.
Yep, exactly, And then, of course, we get one of the more heartbreaking moments when Ash actually goes to Eiji's hospital room, courtesy of Blanca, to basically just say goodbye.
Say sayonara.
Yeah,
the word he was taught.
Yep. And then Eiji's struggling, to get out of his hospital bed and just telling him, just go, run while you still can. That was hard to watch. And then he even begging Charlie, I think, don't chase after him, just let him go.
Yeah, he pretty much told a cop, like, wait, don't chase that wanted man.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty, I mean, it's a pretty big deal, because, like, they didn't chase him. Yeah,
they didn't. And then we get cut back to the Mannerheim, or the National Health Institute, I think, where Dr. Mannerheim is. And we see, like, all the other people getting, like, experimented on with banana fish, which Fox knows about, by the way, which apparently he wasn't supposed to.
I'm sure he knew about it the whole time.
Yeah.
He's probably been snooping, just kind of using Golzine.
Oh, that becomes readily apparent at the end of the episode, especially, because holy shit. I was actually surprised with Ash and Jessica's plan here, because they actually made it public. Like, hey, by the way, all this crazy shit is actually going down.
It's because they wanted to attack from 2 different angles, and if you corner them on one side, like, so if they did it and then didn't attack as well, obviously all the prisoners were going to die.
Yeah.
But their idea is, well, we do a pincer attack. We send the attack on one side, which is like the media, and then you send the attack on the other side, which is the guns.
Yep. Which I just want to point out as well, that scene when they're getting ready to drive away, because it's like, okay, well, we need to get out of here as soon as possible, but there's no way, like, we have to make sure the press doesn't get any, like, they don't get any more information out. We need to get out of here. Let's kill the hostages, which they basically pointed out, Ash basically forsook the hostages when he did that anyway. Which, when the cars finally drive up and they all pop out with machine guns, it reminds me of that scene from The Godfather.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That scene, which was fucking epic. And
you get everybody... I love when everyone's sitting around the table, they have, like, blueprints and everything. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen this scene before. And I guys want someone to sit up, to speak up in the background and just be like, who are we kidding ourselves? We're just gonna fucking show up with guns and shoot everybody anyways. Yeah. And then as soon as they drove into the trap, as soon as they popped up, I was like, here it is!
Exactly. But then we get the biggest surprise of the episode when Fox just up and shoots Dino in the chest.
That wasn't a surprise to me at all.
I was still kind of shocked that he'd actually gone through with it.
Oh man, I could just see the look on his face. Like, and especially when he told the doctor, like, get your stuff, we're leaving. Like,
yeah,
I was like, yep, he's gonna fucking shoot Dino,
which is
right in the nips.
Yeah, which is interesting because I mean, I was expecting the whole time that Ash was going to be the one to kill Dino, but no, it doesn't even seem like he's gonna get that.
I mean, he might not die here. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe Ash is gonna be the one to actually like shoot him in the fucking head or something. I hope so. That would be super satisfying to see.
Yeah, Dino just needs to die.
Dino needs to die, Fox needs to die, And, well, we'll finally see the conclusion of this epic series next week. It's actually going to be hard to say goodbye to this show.
Yeah, it's been watching it for about 6 months now.
It's been so
My
good.
boys!
It's been so good.
Yeah. Alright, so next up is Golden Kamuy.
Yeah. This is the I just want to point out, this is the second series this week to have like a moon, like a reference to the new moon in its title. Like, or I don't know, like, is the new moon supposed to have like some kind of significance in like Japanese culture and stuff like that? Because this show, it mentions like the new moon being super important. IRODUKU has that, and then of course in Inuyasha, his powers like went away during the new moon. I wonder if the new moon just has any kind of significance to
I'm pretty sure
to Japanese culture.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like a moon god.
Probably. So leave a comment if there actually is, because I'm actually curious about this. But anyway, so
if I have a question. So she was like, "Oh, kiwi berries, yeah. If you eat a lot, your butt itches. Make sure you eat a lot." Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Does she just want to mess with him?
I don't know.
Like, is she just being a kid, being kind of an asshole? I really don't know. That actually struck me as kind of off, too. Like, was it a mistranslation, or was she actually saying, hey, eat a lot of these so your ass can itch?
Yeah, I don't know. I
mean, I've heard that eating berries gives people diarrhea, but I don't know. Like, eating way too many of them. But who really knows?
So, there was a scene where Sherpa kind of like confides in Sugimoto, like,
"Oh yeah,
I'm worried about going this. Like, what'll I do? What am I gonna do if I get there?" And you know,
he really does turn out to be my dad.
Yeah, and then Sugimoto reassures her, they're like I'm with you till the end, and it kind of made me think back a while of there's so many situations that a Sherpa or Sugimoto wouldn't have been able to get through without each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's easy to miss like how much they rely, like, because Ashirpa relies on Sugimoto kind of like for his confidence, like his muscle,
and it's just downright tenaciousness and refusal to fucking die.
And Sugimoto relies on Ashirpa for like some emotional guidance and also a lot of mostly survival.
Yeah,
like guidance, so they don't die in the wilderness.
Yeah, she's given. It's sort of like just something he lost. Like there's sort of like a bit of childish wonder to her that, and just kind of like innocence that he lost long ago because of what the war did to him and how many people he had to kill and all the horrible shit he had to deal with. But yeah, no, that's a really good point. And then we get to figure out more Ainu culture stuff, figuring out how important salmon are to Ainu, which kind of reminds me a little bit of and how they use every part of a salmon because it was for convenience reasons. People were starving at first.
Yeah, oh man, it was my favorite clip of the episode. It's just like, you know what this is for, Sugimoto? Sugimoto's like, oh,
don't tell me. Is it cheetah tap?
Who do you think it is? Oh, he fucking looks over at everyone and is just like, it's cheetah tap! Yes!
Which I also want to point out, just like the whole cheetah tap making scene, and then even Chikapashi is like, can we use this to make cheetah tap? And just like pulls out Hichikata's katana, and he's just like, cut with a big ass katana.
Best grandpa of the season.
Yeah, best grandpa of the season. And then Ogata even finally says cheetah tap.
He says it once, like under his breath,
just
and
cheetah tap.
And Ashirpa's like the only one who notices, and nobody believes her.
Yeah, just nobody heard that. Huh? Poor Ashirpa. But then we get a nice little moment between Inkarma and Tanagaki, actually, because Ushiyama asks her, like, oh, are you married, Inkarma? And then Chikapashi tries to give her, like, basically do what's an Ainu proposal, which cook a meal, like, eat half of it yourself, and then go to the girl's place and give her the other half. And if they do that, they're basically betrothed. Which he basically says, like, okay, once all this is over, I'll give you the other half of that food. And which is immediately interrupted by Shiraishi being a douchebag and eating the rest of the food.
So in the it was nice to see her true intentions.
Yeah,
because like I was a little worried that she was gonna go back to Ashirpa's dad, and then, like, oh, I love you, be with me, or whatever. But
no, which...
She's actually said at this point, like, I'm not going back to find a lover. I'm going back so I can, move on.
Yeah, move on from my past. And, since they both in a roundabout way kind of admitted they loved each other, one of them's gonna die soon. Like, that's just the way these kinds of shows go. Like, I can guarantee one or both of them is going to die. Not. I don't want them to either, but I just know one of them is going to, because...
Yeah, She did, like, the thing, like, her reading said that the reason she wasn't going to see him again is because she was going to die.
Yeah.
So,
but maybe
she's going to die.
Yeah, but then changed her fate. Thank you, Tanagaki.
So, in the tunneling scene, I half expected, after the last 2 episodes, to see sweaty naked men digging through the tunnels.
No kidding, right?
We got, man service in the past 2 episodes.
Yeah, we have. But then we also find out just sort of, like, how interesting the plan they have here is, because for one, them tunneling through and going underneath it with a hut hiding it reminds me a lot of Shawshank, actually. Like with the whole, I'm tunneling through the wall here and having a poster cover it. Spoilers for Shawshank if you haven't seen Shawshank, by the way.
There's a prison break.
Yeah. Anyway, but I actually like as well how, I think it was Tanagaki or it was Kiroranke, one of those two, who basically says, hey, it's like, hey, we were told we could fish here if we gave you 3 salmon a day. Ask those guards over there.
Yeah, you play on someone's greed.
Yeah, exactly. Which, it turns out, it kind of helps when you actually have an inside man to kind of help you, like, proceed that plan along, because the person in charge of that was their inside man, actually. Karakura.
Yeah, it's probably not too much work to catch 5 salmon a day to give to them.
I mean, especially...
But I feel like they also have to catch more than that to make it look like they're keeping some.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't imagine it is. Like, especially considering, like, the Ainu kind of rely so heavily on salmon, and they also know that it's that there's just a lot of them because that's their spawning season. Which kind of helps that the salmon are necessary to moving this plan along, pretty much.
Yeah, they said they can only do it when the salmon were here.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought it was kind of interesting. And then I just wanted to say, like, they get ready to do the prison break, and it did not last long at all for them to get spotted.
It was like 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's what happens when in D&D when everybody fails their perception check, but then immediately succeed on their combat checks. Like, wait, who's that? Bang!
Yeah, I love Sugimoto's knee-jerk reaction to punch a man in the nose.
Yeah, just, like, how did you not hear that? How did you not see the lamp? Who cares? Let's just keep moving.
I want to call back that I think it was a really good move from Shiraishi when Inkarmat was doing... She was about to do the, like, 1,001st fortune reading or whatever.
Yes, exactly. It had been sort of like 50-50, like yes or no.
And Shiraishi, actually, when he actually grabs it and stops it, I was like, thank God. Because, like, it was like he said, you don't want that...
Uncertainty.
That uncertainty, yeah.
Exactly. It was cool of him, but at the same time, it's still kind of, things went horribly awry here. I
think they went exactly according to Hijikata's plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Hijikata is almost definitely the one that set him up here.
I don't know if he expects them to get caught exactly. I think he wants to use them as bait to get to the real Noparabo. Yeah, I imagine. Also, what's his face? Tony?
Yeah.
Tony?
Yeah, Tony.
I think he's going along with the plan, but he also wants to help Ashirpa find her real dad.
Exactly. Which they won't be able to know that until Ashirpa can look him in his disfigured face.
Oh my god. After the guy like started just going like Ashirpa's face was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it was. And then
she's usually all cheerful, or like flat face, but she had this look of like absolute horror.
Yeah,
which like, oh man.
I mean, which I guess would make sense if you just saw a man whose face had been like burned and disfigured to shit. It's pretty disturbing. It was
more disturbing seeing Ashirpa's face than it was seeing that guy's face.
Yeah, which it just makes me think. If this is a fake Noparabo, somebody actually went through the trouble of, like, disfiguring another random prisoner's face
I'm sure it wasn't that much trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, just fucking dip him in hot coals. It's fine.
I mean, I'm just saying, it sucks for the person who was his double.
Yeah, right?
Jesus Christ. But then you pointed out at the end of the episode, there are so many plans going on here.
So I think that Inkarmat has been working with Tsurumi the whole time.
You think so?
Yeah, because before Tsurumi shows up with his battleships, Inkarmat goes to Tanigaki and says, like, you need to get out of here or you're going to get caught up in it. Mm-hmm. So I think she knew about Tsurumi coming.
Yeah. Granted, I think a lot of people, like, even Hijikata wasn't surprised that it happened. Like, he's just like, oh, crap, they're here? Well, I guess you can't really underestimate an intelligence officer. And then Inudo, he was, like, least surprised of them all. Like, he's just like, don't worry about it, just remember your training.
Blow up the bridges!
Yeah.
Which
I thought Tsurumi blew up the bridges.
No, Inudo blew up the bridges to delay them. And Tsurumi was like, haha, I knew you were going to blow up the bridges, and that let him bring in the battleships.
Yeah, just like, I've got a boat!
Which, goddamn, his fucking connections.
Yeah.
So he has so many connections.
Yeah. The admiral who turns out to be Koito's dad is the one who gave him this freaking, like, destroyer.
Destroyers.
Yeah, multiple destroyers.
Yeah, there's like 6 of them. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, good lord. I don't know, this is like right out of the frying pan and into the fire sort of deal. Like, everything is coming to a head here. I don't want it even seems actually like a Kadokura kind of needed Sugimoto to take the fall. Because he was the one who, as soon as, like, the double started screaming, he started ringing the bell.
Yeah, I mean, he also
he didn't want to have them dead, but
yeah, because he did help them by, like, fucking with the people's guns.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm assuming he did that anyways.
I imagine so. Like, because he'd helped them with everything else up to this point, but at the same time, it just makes me wonder what exactly is Sugimoto and stuff going to do?
He's with Shiraishi. I'm sure they can get out.
Yeah, Shiraishi is the escape king.
Yeah. That's probably what Hijikata is counting on, is Shiraishi getting there. I mean, and they also have the tunnel, like, well, actually, they'd have to go up on the roof.
Yeah, they'd have to go up on the roof.
Back out, and then go to the tunnel, which is, like, halfway across the compound.
I mean, but I imagine, like, Shiraishi broke out before. He could probably do it again. I hope that Shiraishi doesn't die in the process.
Yeah, I mean, someone's gotta die, right?
Yeah, someone's gotta. Also, before we move on, I just want to say that one of the funniest little bits, it wasn't even anything like they drew a lot of attention to, but when they were lowering her Sherpa down, like, her fucking face...
yeah, her fucking, like, a Mission Impossible, like, completely straight body.
Yeah, and her face, it just reminded me of Kirby for some reason. Like, it was all, like, puffy and shit. I was just like, oh, that's kind of adorable, but...
It's again, moments of comedy and...
in otherwise serious situations. Yeah. Alright, so next up, we have IRODUKU. This series, like, the principal, like, sets up quite possibly one of the best descriptions of Kohaku ever. Why is it whenever she's bubbling with confidence, I feel my stomach drop?
Yeah, that is the nicest, most patient principal I've ever seen.
Yeah, because...
to deal with Kohaku, who regularly damages school property, but still has a smile on his face.
Exactly, and is, like, super patient, like, the whole time. Just like, okay, we'll trust you this time. Mm-hmm. But just, oh god. But this is when the serious shit started to hit the fan here.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected. This series is almost over, but they definitely did a good job of conveying how spontaneous and uncomfortable all this stuff just happened. Because all of a sudden Kohaku's like, Hitomi, okay, you gotta go home now. And I'm just like, well, shit. That's a lot of fucking stuff to just drop on me all of a sudden. Yeah,
but I guess it makes sense because they even point out, like, the entire episode, there's only 2 days, really, that have to do this, and it's basically just 2 days to say your last goodbye to somebody who you're probably never going to see again. Like, at least not in this capacity. And if you don't, they could just disappear forever.
Yeah.
That's a big bomb to drop on I'm pretty sure it's got to be hard for Kohaku, too.
Yeah.
I mean...
it's hard for everybody, everybody's kind of showing it in different ways.
Yeah. Exactly.
Asagi is very, very upset.
Yeah, because her and Hitomi were really close.
Yeah, they are really close.
Yeah, exactly. And I also just want to say that everyone in the club just seemed to be changing for the better just because of Hitomi being there. Like, I mean, we've talked about before, like, how Hitomi had improved, like, as a character and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But everybody has gotten better. Like, Yuito's gotten a lot more confident in, like, sharing his drawings with everybody. And then Asagi, like, she was about to say, like, it's like, why didn't you sell your postcards, Asagi? He's like, I couldn't. But then she, like, stops, like, and immediately corrects herself. And it's like, yeah, I'll do it. Just nice little character moments like that.
Yeah. I didn't expect Star Sand to just actually be sand. Just sand that you get off the beach.
Yeah, I didn't think that either, but it has to be of, like, a specific, like, quality. It had to have bathed in the moonlight for several years.
I don't know what I expected to be. I think I expected it to be synthetic.
Yeah.
Of some kind. Like,
maybe.
Gotta go to the magic factory and buy some star sand.
Mm-hmm.
Which they did say you need naturally occurring star sand, so maybe there is also synthetic star sand.
Yes, I probably.
They just have, like some kind of magic blacklight, I guess.
Probably.
Just put it on the sand, it's fine.
Exactly. I mean, she recites an incantation that allows her to see, like, the kind of star sand she needs. Mm-hmm. Which, I want to point out that when Kohaku and Hitomi are talking, like, about the, you have to go back to the future here pretty soon. And it's just, what Hitomi says, for starters, just, like, Kohaku is convinced that she doesn't understand the gravity of the situation. Like, because Hitomi's thinking, well, what if I'm never able to see colors and stuff like that when I go back? And then it's interesting to just see Kohaku, who's usually so bright, cheery, and positive, just kind of breaking down a little bit here. Yeah, and actually showing some, like, legitimate concern.
Well, it's because she knows the problem that could happen if Hitomi doesn't go back, and Hitomi's, like, she's not really getting it in that moment. Yeah.
Hitomi makes up a good point as well. Like she laments over the things that she'd be missing if she was to go back. Like, she, for the first time in her life, she had friends. She was able to see colors, have all these great experiences. And if she leaves, that's just basically going to be like, what if all that just suddenly disappears? It won't feel real to her anymore, I imagine. Yeah, so I imagine there's a bit of concern with that.
I'm sure she's considering just, like, well, what's the point? Like, why? Like, I might as well just disappear if I'm going to go back. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think I said a few episodes ago that it's not super healthy for her to stay here forever, because it's like, I don't know. I don't want to say she belongs in the future, but it definitely seems like a bit of an escape.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because I imagine that when she does go back, because I imagine she's going to, she's got to have to patch up stuff with her mom. Like, she has to. Like, I imagine almost exactly that's what's going to happen. But anyway, we get a lot of nice little character moments as well with both Kohaku's mom and Kohaku's grandma. I just want to point out that all the members, or all the women at least, of the Shikishiro family, they have that little wink.
Yeah.
You noticed that too? Yeah. It was so awesome. Like Kohaku's grandma is just getting ready to cheer her up, and it's just like, I'm sure that you in the future had confidence that you could do it. Take it from me, who's a great mage myself. And then when Kohaku's mom was getting ready just to say to Hitomi, it's in hard times that you have to eat the most, probably, and take the best care of yourself. And then gives her a wink as well. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just a nice little subtle character detail I thought was kind of adorable. And
so there's the scene where Hitomi and Yuito were walking along, mm-hmm. and she just disappeared out of nowhere.
Oh, man.
The sound design right there was really good, because they were talking, and you hear the rain and everything in the background, and just the city sounds, and as soon as Hitomi disappears mid-sentence, everything just goes quiet.
Yeah.
Literally everything for, like, a few seconds.
Oh, and yeah.
And then they sound comes back.
Yeah, they hold on that for a while. There was actually a shot earlier where they kind of held on Yuito's face while they slowly zoomed in on him for a while longer than I thought was personally necessary. But here, I guess but with that scene, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like, it's just kind of a jarring event. She literally just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it helps you kind of get inside Yuito's head.
Like, he doesn't even realize what happened.
Yeah.
Like, it just happened out of nowhere. And then we get the nicest scene, I think, when you just see, like, Hitomi just sitting alone in her room, and then she looks over and sees that the light from Yuito's room is on, and then she, like, sends him a little magic paper airplane, and he opens it, and then she gets ready to send another one, but it immediately just rather than going to him, it goes down.
Yep.
And then and then she realizes, wait, he's running here, or something.
No, I don't think I think she just wanted to get the message.
Yeah.
And then maybe go give it to him or something.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, I'm 95% sure that Kohaku is the one that was like, oh, let's just make it go down there.
I imagine that, I personally thought it happened because Yuito was already heading in that direction. Like, as soon as he got the message, like, he got up and started running that way.
Yeah.
So, which is why when the plane was getting ready to go over, instead of going to his window, like she was expecting it to, because she'd already said, like, find your way to Yuito, which, not find your way to Yuito's house. So when it went out the window and started going down, it kind of indicated to her, oh my god, he's actually running this way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and then the two of them meet up with each other. She just, like, runs up and hugs him, which, by the way, pretty nice animation, but just, again, this is going to be heartbreaking to see, because they're finally admitting, oh, we like each other, but now we're not going to be able to be together.
Yeah, God, that's gotta suck, because they're in the situation where Tomi's like, well, I have time. Like, I can tell him later, and Yuito probably thinks, like, I can also tell her later. We don't have to rush things, because, like, normally in a relationship, when you're not time travelers and you're not immediately have to leave,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can let things kind of just naturally go.
But yeah, now there's this stipulation that they just kind of have to. Now they're just like, oh, well, shit, this kind of sucks, actually.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting proxy stressed.
Yeah,
just watching it. I'm like, oh god.
I just halfway expect this to be. Like, I kind of knew that this was going to be this kind of series going in. It's a PA work show. It's
You're gonna be sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fucking sad by the end of this.
I will be not crying
mm-hmm.
because I'm a man.
All right.
Theoretically, some people
yeah.
in the room while I'm watching the show will probably be crying.
Oh, really? Funny. Anyway. I'm looking forward to seeing the end of this. I know it's going to be bittersweet, though.
Yeah,
I'm getting major Angel Beats feels from this.
I hope that Hitomi has to go back to her own time, because I want her and Yuito to be together. I think they're a really cute couple, but also, like, I think it's healthier for Hitomi to go back and live her life.
It's basically like Hitomi's living in a dream at this point. Like, she needs to kind of face face reality. And I think in order to be a well-rounded person, she needs to know what real sadness is. So, I mean, she spent a lot of time happy, but there's also got to be some sadness in life. So. Yeah,
this will be it's a good situation for everyone. Because, I mean, everyone's going to be sad when she leaves, you know, her included. But her kind of leaving her mark on everyone's life kind of made everyone
better.
Yeah, like a better person. Like,
yep.
And her being around them made her a better person. So.
Exactly.
Next up is JoJo Golden Wind.
So we get the stunning conclusion to the Narancia and Formaggio fight.
This episode had me look up a couple things.
Yeah.
Because I was curious. With the whole flashback to when Narancia was a kid and his mom died of an eye disease.
Yeah.
Like, what? How?
What eye? Yeah, that's actually something that I was wondering. Like, what eye disease kills people?
So the only thing I could find was oscular melanoma, which is a fancy word for eye cancer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mean eye cancer?
Yeah, that's literally the only disease that I could find that was an eye disease that could kill you.
Yeah.
Every other one just made you blind. I'm like, there might be one out there, but I didn't spend more than 5 minutes Googling it. So
yeah, exactly. I mean.
Yeah, so it's like, apparently if you get eye cancer, it's just pretty much just spreads to
yeah,
like your brainal area.
I mean, that's just cancer, because that's...
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because cancer just is cells growing ridiculously out of control, so...
And the other thing I had to look up was when the spider, like, shot him with webs.
Yeah.
I was like, spiders can't do that, right? But I looked it up, apparently there's a lot of ground spiders, like spiders that like live out in the grass and stuff.
Yeah.
That they can't make webs. But the way they hunt things down is they shoot little, like, bursts of web onto the prey, and the prey get all sticky and tangled up and stuff.
All right. I guess that makes a little bit of sense. So yeah, we get a flashback. Like for starters, we get to see just how loyal Narancia is, because he is like a ridiculously small person getting crushed by a very big man's shoe. I imagine that's got to be excruciating.
Yeah, and spits up blood.
Yeah, and he even says something to the effect of, "I'm not going to tell you. Like, I'll never tell you. I'd rather die than tell you." Mm-hmm. And then we get
that mafia loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. We get, however, I don't know. I don't think that's applicable to everyone in the mafia. I think Formaggio would spill the beans if he was pinched hard enough, because he just seems like that kind of douchebag.
But that's like that's a thing that's supposed to happen in mob.
But anywho, we get into his flashback where his dad, after his mom died, became very distant and kind of an asshole.
Yeah, it's apparently a lot of shitty dads in Italy.
Yeah, who'd have thought, right? We had Giorno's stepdad who technically abused him, and because his real dad just isn't around. Yeah. You know, that's...
What if he's the boss?
What if Dio's the boss? No. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Dio's his dad.
Yeah, Dio's his real dad.
Oh, you were expecting the boss, but it was me, Dio.
Oh, my God.
Like, I feel like I'd know that by now, just by proximity of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. But, yeah, there's a lot of shitty dads in Italy. I guess Italian men are just assholes.
Mario's an asshole.
To our Italian fans, I'm sorry.
You're all assholes.
If you're an Italian dad, specifically, you're an asshole.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you're an Italian dad.
Or an Italian son who was neglected by their Italian dad. I'm sorry. Anyway, so as an act of rebellion, Narancia just decided to join a bunch of street kids and stole or helped them steal food and stuff. He befriended this blonde punk who was basically like an older brother to him, but then said, "Hey, you should dye your hair blonde too to be like me," only to get immediately thrown under the bus by him, because like some old woman who apparently could only discern the fact that the person who beat her up had blonde hair and wasn't, shorter and lankier and shit. Like, you'd think that she would have had at least some idea. Anyway, I just find it weird that this old lady is that stupid that she didn't, discern, an idea that, oh, hey, this kid is short and kind of lanky. The guy who beat the shit out of me was a pretty big guy.
I mean, she's probably old and can't see very well.
I mean, maybe, but you think...
she's Italian. I mean, old.
All right. Also... apparently, Italians just are even bigger assholes than I thought, because a cop just headbutts him. Apparently, that's something that a cop can just do in Italy, and manages to bruise his eye or something. And during the entire year he's in juvie, never gets his eye checked out, never gets it treated, anything like that. The whole fucking time, his eye's just infected.
So I feel like a year is a long time to be in juvie. Is that like a normal thing?
I don't know. I think a year is actually about standard, but still, maybe longer depending on what you did. But I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of weird that, again, you were there for a year and nobody sent you to the
doctors or
they didn't send you to the infirmary to get your eye checked out or some shit. Anyway,
yeah, they're like, that's looking kind of purple and gross.
Hell, in Requiem for a Dream, they got him to a freaking doctor to get his arm. Yeah, that.
God, I hate that fucking scene.
Oh God, it's so bad, but you get my point. They got him to the infirmary and got his freaking arm amputated because he would have died if he didn't. I don't know. Apparently, just Italians are assholes. But anywho, all right.
So I love how Narancia's strategy was so after he got locked up in the bottle with the spider.
Yeah.
I love how his strategy was just more fire.
Yeah, let's just set out more fire. I wasn't aiming for the spider earlier when I used Aerosmith, not Little Bomber. I refuse to call it that. I was aiming for the freaking fuel tank in the car so I could blow it up. Which, let's go to the spider for a little bit.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Well, that's one thing. But what I was thinking of as well, it kind of confused me because Formaggio brought up, it's like, did you know there's a spider called the Southern Black Widow that is apparently dangerous enough to kill people? But I was thinking to myself, okay, and I found this guy in the sewer. I was like, okay, how is a spider from South America just randomly in the sewers in Italy? It took me a second to realize, oh wait, he just means he just found a regular-ass spider. Just the way that he'd worded it just felt kind of awkward to me.
It's probably subs that made it awkward. He was probably comparing well, there's a spider that can kill people, but you're this small, so this spider can also just kill you. Exactly.
I guess so. It just took me a second to realize that. And then when he finally managed to get back to his normal size, why didn't the bottle break?
Yeah, I'm assuming. I was also wondering about that because I'm assuming off screen he just crawled out.
Yeah, but it's still just but he was paralyzed and
it was kind of an awkward transition.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah, you're right. He was paralyzed and tied up. Yeah, that bottle definitely should have broke.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I didn't think about that.
I don't know. It's just again, it's more sleight of hand shit with this. But
who cares? It's JoJo.
Who cares? It's JoJo.
So and then he got back, and then so JoJo Giorno.
Yeah.
It's all right. I think he did pretty good. Let's just wait for the boss to call us back. And they're
it's
how do you know the boss is going to call us back?
Oh, the boss called us back. Just talk about convenience.
And I think it was near the end. Narancia was like, oh, yeah, we can get a helicopter. Nobody will ever be able to find us in a helicopter. And I'm like, Narancia, you literally have a fucking airplane stand. Why would you think that no one could follow you in the air? Jesus.
Oh my god.
He's not the brightest kid.
I mean, he can be clever when push comes to shove, but yeah, he's not particularly smart.
Why wouldn't you think anyone else could have a stand that could chase you in the air?
He's this season's Okuyasu.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's this season's Okuyasu. It's just a fucking moron.
And Okuyasu was that season's Polnareff.
Yeah, well, Polnareff actually...
Polnareff was that kind of character.
Yeah, he was kind of dumb. But he was actually the person who survived. Also, for a brief second, when they were, during the whole, the spider's gonna kill you thing, when it showed, Narancia on the screen and his face was looking all melty and shit, was I the only one who thought that looked like the poster for House of Wax or some shit?
Never seen
it. Okay, well, don't. House of Wax is a House of Wax is a terrible movie.
Right.
It just reminded me of, or at least the remake. You know it's great because it's got Paris Hilton in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not even joking. She dies. But anyway, the original one with Vincent Price, I hear, is pretty good. But anyway. So next up, Karakuri Circus.
Why the hell couldn't they just call it a Philosopher's Stone like everyone else?
Yeah, why did they have to call it the Soft Stone?
Yeah.
I mean, and they call Aquavitae, it's this Philosopher's Stone produces Aquavitae, which was basically just supposed to be the elixir of immortality. Fine, that makes sense. But again, I agree with you. Why the fuck is it not called the Philosopher's Stone?
Philosopher's Stone is copyrighted, so we have to make our own
thing. It's copyrighted by, the original alchemist who came up with a term, 800 years ago. I'm pretty sure if that was the case, it'd be open domain at this point. But that aside, this episode as well was just kind of all over the place for me.
The story ended pretty well. I liked the way the story connects to the plot now.
Yeah.
Because the Midnight Circus, I love the Midnight Circus. I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
And I loved how after Yin left and Francine dies, which I'll touch on that in a second.
Okay.
I love how he just okay, now I'm going to give everyone this disease to make them, so they have to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Or else they die.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fantastic motive for a villain. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, they didn't really convey Francine's death very well.
No, I'll just say it. Francine's death was fucking stupid.
So, she was burning. She didn't really...
For starters, she was supposed to be sick. She looked pretty damn healthy for a sick person. What would you have to be sick with that was so bad that she'd have to be quarantined off? You said the plague, which makes sense. I was also thinking maybe leprosy. Here's the thing. If she had either of those diseases, she'd have looked pretty damn sick.
Yeah,
Leprosy, people who had leprosy looked like they were falling apart.
Yeah, they just gave her like a generic plaguey sickness.
Yeah, just here's a generic disease. We're not going to exactly explain what it is. It's kind of be like a Narancia's random eye disease.
Yeah, it's like, well, we don't want her to look ugly, so we can't give her the plague.
Yeah, exactly. Also, by the way, those contextually long chains, or contextually long or short chains.
So, I watching it a second time through, I realized that the first time she stumbled, it wasn't because the chains caught her, it was because she was very weak.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking to myself, okay, those chains decided to magically get longer, I guess.
Yeah, like the first time we watched it, it was like, oh no, I can't reach you because of these chains, and he's like, no, I love you. She's like, okay,
the power of love is going to make these chains go miraculously longer.
Yeah, it was just because she stumbled, because like when she stumbled, the chains weren't even like stretched. They were all bundled up.
That makes more sense.
So when she was burning in the fire,
for one, where did she get something to cut her hair with? Like you'd imagine she didn't have any
I don't know, man.
Sharp
rock.
Yeah, a sharp rock or something. Which you'd think that if she was in that much pain or whatever, she might have wanted to, I don't know, kill herself or something.
I don't think she was in any physical pain at all.
Yeah.
I make that assumption based off the fact that she just was smiling when she was burning alive.
Yeah, I mean, which means that her nerves would probably have been completely destroyed or something, but
so she was just burning in the fire, and she's like, well, I can't be with you anymore because I spent all these years with Jin.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming what happened is that she spent a bunch of years with him. He kidnapped her. Eventually, she had Stockholm syndrome or whatever, and started to fall for him.
Yeah.
So they were or I don't know, because he said she never cared for him.
And then Yin basically says something to the effect of, well, why do you think she never left you all those years? She was devoted to you too. Again, this whole thing I felt was just kind of clumsily handled. Him trying to replicate a puppet that looked like her, actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's like how you said last episode. It would have made a lot more sense if we saw more.
Yeah,
if we saw maybe devote 5 or 10 minutes to the years that Jin and Francine lived together.
Yeah.
So we could understand Francine's guilt a little bit more, because I'm assuming they slept together or something.
That's what I thought too.
She's like,
you know what that means.
Yeah, I've been with him all these years, even though I should have been thinking of you. And
yeah, which by the way, I'd like to also point out, she was gone for 9 years. That's a very long time.
Yeah, so I'm assuming she wasn't locked up in that prison the whole time.
Yeah.
And also I would have liked a little more explanation about the disease and everything.
I mean, also, let's also point out, it's kind of hilarious how Jean has Zonapha syndrome as the name of the disease.
Yeah, the scientific acronym.
Yeah, exactly. What?
With all these, crazy future words? I don't remember the exact acronym, but it was, something along... It was something very medical sounding.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty...
Maybe they came up with they're like, oh yeah, Zonapha sounds cool. We'll just make it an acronym later. That sounds like definitely an oversight.
Just, okay, why does he have the name of the disease? When and how did he create this disease? We never really know.
Yeah.
Just, okay, we can understand, alright, he's an alchemist, so he obviously devoted time to try and make the Philosopher's Stone, because that was the goal of every alchemist, try to create something that was able to do all these crazy things. I mean, but they're just, when and how did I create this disease?
Yeah. But moving on from that, there's a little cool narrative detail, and at least I noticed it, when Jin, when he dropped into the well, and used it to control everyone. It's essentially when everyone drank from the well, they became puppets themselves, pretty much.
I was just going to say that too. Basically, it's sort of because he takes over them in some way, shape, or form, and yeah, they basically become his living puppets, which definitely gives more credence to what Shirogane was saying earlier with, I'm a puppet who fights other puppets.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it gives a lot of really cool context for that. It kind of makes me think that they sort of they decided to add this in later, but either way, still cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what the big problem is. Why Shirogane blood is toxic to automata, because here's the thing. The automata are fueled by aquavitae, which I had assumed is what what made the Shiragane's blood the way that it was.
It's probably something to do with they drank aquavitae that was infected, for lack of a better word, with gin.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it fucks with them.
I guess.
Because it's like the very blood of the Shiraganes hates the automata. So when they suck Shiragane blood, it probably just like fucks with their...
I figure it was something like that too. It was just still a little awkwardly handled, I think. Just like, okay, that's interesting. I just kind of threw me off. I'm like...
Made sense to me.
It's like, okay, aquavitae is what's fueling them, but aquavitae also makes the Shiragane, or makes the automata hate it. I don't know. It just...
They don't like that brand.
Yeah, they don't like that brand of aquavitae. Yeah. Shiragane flavored aquavitae.
So, the master guy, I feel like he was just around for this backstory. Like, I feel like they just brought him in, and then killed him off, just be like, oh, well, we got the backstory out of the way, we can kill him off now.
Yeah, it just felt like a rather pointless death for a rather pointless character.
Yeah, I didn't care about him at all.
It's just like, okay, I have no real context for you. You're also,
who's the Chinese person?
Yeah, just what?
I already forgot. I think she was like a disciple of that guy. Or something.
That was his daughter.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, Ming Xia, I believe her name is. But
wow,
yes,
I'm impressed you remember.
Yeah, like okay, that's again, we have no real context for a lot of these characters. And then also, let's introduce one of the oldest living automata, Pantalone.
I don't think he's dead.
I don't think so.
I think the guy. Well, the guy killing himself. I understand his motivation. He wanted to kill himself because he was pretty much just tired of everything.
Yeah,
and also he wanted to blow up the spring because that was the spring of like the original source of
aquavitae.
Yeah, or I don't know if it was a source. But most important question of all: what kind of conditioner does that dog use? Because it's fabulous.
No kidding, right? Like, good lord, its fur is so smooth.
God, it's just beautiful. I just want to, like, lay on that dog and just, like... I want to take a photo shoot with that dog.
No kidding.
Even though I'll probably be entirely outshined.
Yeah, you will probably... And you might get eaten. I don't know. We don't know what that dog
I don't know what the dog is either.
Yeah.
Is it a Shiragane? It has white hair like a Shiragane. Is that a dog that drank the aquavitae?
Probably. Yeah. Sort of like Koromaru from Persona. Yeah, that'd be cool.
There we go. Answered my own question. That's probably it.
Yeah, that's probably
because when Lucille, when she drank the water, her hair immediately turned silver.
Yeah,
and all the other Shiragane's hair is silver, so it's
probably a reference to the fact that Jean, when he died, had silver hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
next up is Run with the Wind.
The twins and Musa finally got records!
Yeah, so it turns out 30 minutes is not the time for an official record, like I thought last episode.
No kidding.
I think it was like
It was like 16. Like 16 and a half, I think.
Yeah, it might have been 17.
Yeah.
I got under 17 minutes.
Yes, exactly. But the people that didn't were both Yuki and Shindo, who, these were the ones I think we focused on the most this episode.
Yeah, mostly Shindo.
Yeah, mostly Shindo. And... I also want to point out that the episode of this was called Overflowing Drops, which made me think, is this a reference to sweat and tears? I imagine it has to be. Or is it a reference to rain? Because pretty much in every scene where they were running, it was fucking raining.
It could be sweat and tears and rain.
Yeah, probably. Just a lot of water.
This show definitely has, like, small references like that, like Prince's shirt and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, Prince's shirt this week was Bonds.
Yeah, that's right, it was. You were talking about dogs earlier. Can I just say that Nira is one of the best freaking anime dogs? Because he was getting ready to go on a run with them, and then they were like, you have to stay home, Nira. And he like goes, and then he just shakes his head, and like just shakes off, probably in retaliation. And then, of course, later we just see him doing, as curious little doggos do, barking at caterpillars and shit.
Yeah, So, when I was watching this episode, I had a little moment of thought, like, putting this dog in is such a brilliant idea from an animator perspective. Because they're like, we have 5 seconds where we have nothing, we need to fill the frame. Dog barking at caterpillar.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because... Again,
and it feels natural.
Yeah, and again, who doesn't like an adorable Shiba Inu? Shiba Inus are great. We also, because the big point of this episode was basically just to kind of drive home how Shindo really feels about everything, because he feels like he's putting in so much effort and so much time, but he never really seems to improve. Even though Haiji has said on a few times, times are not everything here.
Yeah, and you will improve, but you're not necessarily going to improve as fast as everyone else.
Exactly.
But at the same time, they only have so much time.
Yeah, exactly. They have so much time. We actually got a reference to Fujioka again this series or episode 2, which I was not expecting to. The second time or first time through, didn't know exactly what he was said or why that was important, but it actually was a pretty cool, inspirational little moment for him. Just in an interview, he said, "I know there are some strong runners hiding in Kanto. I'm sure they'll be ready by the Ekiden season."
Yeah,
it was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of athletes focus on themselves a lot.
Yeah.
And he didn't say it to get attention. He literally only said it to pretty much send out a message.
Yeah,
to Haiji and Kakeru, and
exactly, and probably
kind of the rest of the team.
Yeah, exactly.
To a lesser extent.
Yeah, but definitely Haiji and Kakeru, which I thought, and when I first saw that they were getting kind of seemingly upset that he was on the cover of that, I thought it was just because it's oh crap, well, this is a reminder of how far we still have to go. But it actually turned out to be a really awesome, inspirational moment for the both of them.
Yeah, Kakeru seemed a little upset when he first saw it.
Yeah, and then
there's a little moment, it's a 5-second clip when Nico was standing on the scale.
Yeah.
And he's just yes!
Yeah, because he sees that he's finally losing weight. And it's, again, that was something he was worried about. But, when you're actually taking care of yourself and also still running and stuff, hey, who'd have thunk?
It's kind of like the dog thing. They do such a good job of just putting in little tiny things like that.
Mm-hmm. And then I think this actually, Haiji said something really inspiring. Just the best compliment to give a long distance runner is that he's strong. That comes full circle later, because when Kakeru Shindo, and Yuki are all just hanging out and helping Shindo get the web page ready so that they can have more supporters. Basically, Kakeru goes into the speech and ultimately ends it with saying, "You're strong, Shindo."
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, you didn't? Oh man, I didn't notice it the first time either, but I just thought it was a really nice moment. Again, just kind of a nice little callback to something earlier in the episode. It does and then also how everybody's apparently Shindo has a girlfriend. Yeah. That nobody has ever seen.
You ever seen it before? No.
I haven't seen it. Has he been so busy that he just imagined a girlfriend? And then he gets broken up with in a natural and, I wouldn't say a terrible way, but it still feels shitty.
Yeah.
Because it's a breakup.
Yeah, if you've ever been on the receiving end of a breakup, you know how it feels. It's just he perfectly encapsulates just going what? Just the shock of it when you don't think it's real at first.
Yeah.
But then it slowly settles in that I guess this is this person that I spent so much time with, or in his case probably not enough time with.
Yeah.
I don't get to see them as much anymore or whatever, and I don't get to be with them. It just fucking sucks.
No kidding. It that really does suck. And then that actually it was a really inspiring moment though when you just see him running around the track and him basically just saying, "Let me run some more. I just want to run until I feel satisfied," which was probably him just trying to escape all the horrible shit that he's dealing with. And
you just gotta get it out of your system, in IRODUKU.
Yeah,
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, when Sho just screams.
He just screams on the rooftop. He just wanted to. He just wanted to run just to get his mind off of it.
But it inspired everybody to just run along with him. And
I think it A, inspired them to run along with him, and B, I think everybody also wanted. They don't know exactly what happened, but they know Shindo's
upset and want to support him.
Yeah, so they all run with him to support him, and that's when you see the bonds.
Yeah, exactly.
On Prince's shirt.
Yeah, which I love how even he is actually not really even saying anything there, but then when he just sees everybody running, he just fine.
Yeah. Eventually, literally the whole team starts running again.
Yeah.
And they're all, I want to point out, they're all not running to get speed, they're all literally just running together.
Yeah.
Everyone's running together in one shot. That's really cool to see.
Which which actually inspires something later when Yuki just brings up to Shindo, it's like, you run a little bit differently than everybody else. And then Kakeru and him just start working on trying to get his running form more.
They need to also work on King's running form.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he's like an old man.
Yeah, just like having your neck hunched down and freaking like running like that. I'm pretty sure that's not what you do. Yeah. Raise your center of gravity a little bit, King.
Yeah, like there's so many things that like they left Prince alone for so long. He's running like he did. Like from the first time I saw him run, I was like, can someone maybe talk to him about that?
Yeah,
but I mean, Haiji was pretty smart about it. Like he just wanted to get everybody used to running before he started improving their form and stuff like that. Which Prince still needs to work on his form a little bit because he still does kind of resort to the he slipped into the habit.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure like he'll get better eventually, which he's already improving. So that's good news. But anyway.
So, really quick, at the end, we had the fucking military veteran 1,000-yard stare guy.
Who is this random guy with the 1,000-yard stare? Like, what the hell?
So, I couldn't tell. He said, I saw the lip flap and he said Kakeru.
Yeah.
But I don't know Japanese, so I couldn't tell what the lip flap of all the other things. He said like Kakeru and then something else after that.
Yeah.
Like he knows him somehow, I assume. Maybe
like an old coach or an old mentor or something like that.
Because he was like very surprised to see Kakeru.
Yeah, I know. And we got another character. We got Sakaki again from his past, which Sakaki's being the usual asshole he is. It's like, try not to get in our way sort of deal. But then Shindo, of all people, stands up to him, which... It's actually...
It was a nice cap-off to Shindo's growth.
Yeah, just don't worry. Our battle lies elsewhere. And I also want to point out, for one, they get their first online supporter, which is fun, which is cool to watch for anybody who's like on YouTube and shit. Yeah. Getting additional subscribers, awesome. Yeah. But also everybody like finally is participating in the cheer, like the Mountains of Hakone are cheer that Haiji started doing. Like nobody did it. Yeah, nobody did it at first because they thought it was stupid, but now they're participating. It's really cool to see. Anyway, on to Gridman. We pick up right where we left off with a bloody box opener.
Okay, so I went back and I watched an episode. I watched the opening before this, before the episode. And the box cutter is in the opening, but in this episode of the opening, right at the end of the opening, the box cutter's all bloody.
Oh, so the box... Okay, I figured it was something like that because the box cutter I thought had shown up before.
Yeah.
But yeah... Nice little illusion, and then when it finally happens, it's bloody.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, you didn't really think about it much before, because you're like, oh, that's what she uses to carve out her kaiju. Yeah, so, yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
But then, yeah, she fucking stabbed him in the stomach.
So, the end of the last episode, it was just kind of like a, and then you see Yuta just fall over.
Yeah.
In this episode, she stabs him, and you see Yuta go, like, his anguished, pain face, and he's like... And then blood is everywhere, and he like slowly falls over. It's so much more dramatized.
Now, I think that the reason for that is because like at first you're looking at it from like an outsider's perspective, like you don't really know what happened at first.
That's right. Yeah, you just saw it kind of from Yuta's back.
Yeah, and then but here you get to see it like more like what he actually felt. Like again, and I just want to point out, thankfully, Akane is apparently a sucky ass aim. Because she made such a big deal about how she stabbed him. It's like, not every stab wound is fatal, right?
I stabbed him once with a box cutter.
That should have killed him. Yeah. No, only if you stabbed him in the right place. This world that you created has something magical called hospitals.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no, hospitals.
Which so all the internet and phone lines and stuff, I'm assuming... That was all run by the custodial kaiju?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're like, oh yeah, we'll simulate internet and phones, so all these people feel like it's a real world.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they have... So, when they can't get an ambulance through, they have to freaking drive him with their car. It's almost like people in the States having to take Ubers to the hospital, because ambulances are so fucking expensive sometimes. But...
Will a person let you in their Uber if you're bleeding everywhere?
I don't...
Like, don't worry, I got some plastic wrap, it's fine.
I don't know.
Are you really going to be, like, if you're the driver, are you really going to be the guy, like, no!
Yeah.
Like, get your dying friend out of my car. I don't want bloodstains everywhere.
I don't know. I just know that and it's actually gotten not completely uncommon for somebody to freaking call an Uber rather than an ambulance. Anywho, because Akane is like slipping further into her depression here, she refuses to make kaiju, and so Alexis just decides, you know what? Let's just bring back every kaiju from this season, including the crappy-ass one.
Yeah, it's probably...
That sounds like a squeak toy.
Which is weird, because I feel like Alexis should be able to make his own, but he apparently needs someone else to make kaiju.
I don't know. We don't really know the extent of what we don't really even know what Alexis is. We just know he's an alien.
I mean, everyone calls him an alien. We don't know if he's an alien.
Like, yeah, he seems to be an alien. We don't really know. He
seems to be a Chief Overjustice. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, he seems to be Chief Overjustice, and he seemed... Or a butler in cosplay,
that's right.
If you ask that one episode.
So Rika's friends are really weirdly calm about kaiju rampaging around the city.
Yeah.
They just see kaiju in the background when they're on top of the building, and they're like, huh, how about that?
No kidding. Alright. And then while they're all in the hospital, Sho is lamenting over the fact that he's basically having the existential crisis that Riko is having a few episodes ago, how useful really am I and stuff like that. Of course, it's a little bit of that mixed with guilt. Because here Sho is not only worried about the fact that he really hasn't done a whole lot, but also just the fact that he was happy when Yuta was fighting and stuff like that. Yeah, he was
oh yeah, kick-ass kaiju fights, which, I mean, it probably didn't feel super real.
Yeah.
Because everything got reset. They remembered it, but it's well, there's not a lot of,
consequences.
Consequences, yeah. There's not a lot of consequences to the fighting. It's just Gridman can beat up the kaiju and then everything's fine the next day. It's just like a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. Much. But here it's starting, especially now that he's actually seeing, somebody actually hurt in front of him, as somebody who I imagine was a really good friend, probably his best friend before he lost his memories, which we actually find out a little bit about that too.
I don't know, I'm not entirely in love with that decision.
Yeah, me neither. So to drop all pretense, we find out that that Yuta is not really Yuta. It's Gridman living inside Yuta's body and controlling it there. However, the reason why Yuta doesn't really remember who he is because he was never really Yuta to begin with. The real Yuta is, buried somewhere deep in that body. And it's just been Gridman who has been, who had lost his memory.
Yeah. It's a cool concept for sure. I thought we were getting attached to a character to Yuta, but we were actually getting attached to Gridman this whole time. It's just, I guess I'm not really upset so much as I am shocked by it.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting decision. I wasn't expecting it. Just wait, what?
Yeah.
Yuta isn't Yuta, but he's actually Gridman?
So I'd love to see... I'd love to see how Yuta actually is after all this.
Yeah.
Just see, and especially if everyone... Okay. That also brings up another question of what is after all this. There's so many questions in the show that are left unanswered, but I'm also not super upset about it because it's an awesome show.
Exactly. I just think that I'm just enjoying the ride at this point.
Yeah.
I actually was thinking, after I heard it's oh, Yuta is actually Gridman. It's oh, that's actually kind of weird. It's cool. Kind of weird, though.
It's a good way to set up the finale.
Yeah, I think so, too. Especially when you get to see Gridman and Grid Knight fighting side by side.
So Auntie, when he shows up in the hospital, and he kind of seems like an asshole.
Yeah.
But I don't really think we can hold Auntie to the same standards we hold people to. Because he's still very much in the process of learning how to be a people.
Yeah, no, because again, Auntie isn't a person yet. He was a kaiju, really, that was created just for the sole purpose of fighting Gridman.
Yeah, when Sho tells him to apologize, he says, what is apologize?
Yeah.
I don't think he's being snarky. I think he just literally doesn't know what apologizing is.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically, he's a kid, pretty much. He's a very small kid trapped in a teenager's body. We don't really, and he doesn't really know all this stuff yet. But, yeah, we get a pretty awesome fight scene. You see, Auntie as Grid Knight, grab, one of the kaijus, necks between his legs, and then, toss him over.
Alright, so a scene with when the Neon Genesis Junior High students were carrying Rika's mom
Oh
by,
my god!
and they carried her away, and it was them in the foreground and then Auntie is Grid Knight in the background fighting the kaiju. Such an amazing shot because you got to see the comparison of someone running at normal speed compared to how slow it looks when he's like grabbing and throwing the kaiju around. You can really feel the weight.
Yeah, no kidding.
It really like solidifies like how massive they are.
Yeah, no kidding. Because when something has a bigger stride, they just cover a lot more distance than a normal person would.
Yeah, so like when we're seeing it through the perspective of it's just like when we're just seeing the mechs fight the kaiju, it doesn't look. It looks kind of slow, but it still looks kind of normal because everything's kind of scaled up to that perspective. But yeah, just seeing that from you seeing a banana for scale is nice.
Yeah. I also want to point out. You said earlier, like, Rika's friends. Rika's friends were surprisingly calm. Let's just say that Rika's mom is surprisingly calm.
I love Rika's mom.
Rika's mom is great.
She's just so chill.
Yeah, she just saw... Because she sees Gridman, because there's really no point in calling him Yuta at this point. She sees Gridman go inside the junk computer after they decide to fix it again, because they realize, the reason why Yuta's not awake is because junk is... broken.
Yeah, there's a new graphics card again. It's fine.
Yeah, let's just put in a new graphics card with over with the ability to get all the colors, all 1,600,000 something.
Like 9 million or something.
It was a lot of freaking colors. Just Jesus Christ, and you're putting it in that crappy ass computer. But anyway, so he goes into the computer, and Rika's mom is just standing there while he did that, just staring, and then Buster, I think, just looks over and is like, "You saw that, didn't you?" It's like, "Oh, no, don't mind me. You go on ahead."
Yeah, she's just so goddamn chill.
She's great.
So, Auntie has... one thing I noticed is Auntie has that saw, or the circle laser
that's right.
So I'm pretty sure that's, like, supposed to represent the table saw.
Yeah.
He always waved around in his human form.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck he got a table saw, but he always has one in his pocket, apparently.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I think that's what that's supposed to be.
I actually hadn't thought about that. I just thought it was a pretty cool way for him to kill shit, but that actually adds a little bit more interesting context to it. And then the last bit of the episode was just Rika trying to talk to Akane. Like, basically...
Almost got to her.
Yeah,
too.
Almost did. But then Alexis had to go and fuck everything up. Because, let me interrupt this pointless conversation. Fuck you, Alexis.
I mean, to him, it could seem pointless. Like, it's like if he is an alien, you can't think, like, maybe we're just ants or whatever. Like, what does he care?
Exactly. But yeah, and then he just turns her into a kaiju, because apparently he can do that.
I can't wait to see that. I wonder if she's going to look like humanoid or just really freaky and ugly, like her inner emotions.
That, I imagine so. And then Gridman's... And then I imagine, like, seeing that kaiju, Gridman will probably realize, okay, I can't beat her. I can't get through to her. But Yuta Hibiki can. Maybe.
I just want Grid Knight and Gridman to combine. There's one more episode. They can do it. I believe in them.
Yes, we believe in you, Trigger!
It's just, I just want that to happen so bad.
One last little subtle detail I noticed. We actually got to see the city in the sky. Like, everyone got to see it, actually. Like, it looked like it was getting closer.
Did they? Because Rika's friends didn't really comment on it.
You'd think... That's actually a good point. People would, I'd imagine people would be freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't think they can see the city yet.
But it was there. Like, we could we, the audience, could actually see it getting closer.
I don't know if it's getting closer or if all the fog is just disappearing, so it looks like it's getting closer. If it is getting closer, then...
It's like a Majora's Mask situation.
Yeah, I mean, it could be why Akane stabbed Yuta in the first place, because she's like, shit, all this stuff that's going to happen if I don't beat Gridman is going to happen, so I need to go do it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things we don't know. We don't know why Akane's doing all this. We don't know how this city was created.
Yeah.
We don't know what the city in the sky is. We don't know if he's an alien or not. We don't know so many things.
Yeah.
And they have one more episode, and they're probably not going to explain it all. But I feel like they can wrap the story up anyways.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to wrap up the story without any major glaring plot threads. But yeah, there will probably be some minor questions.
So next up is Sword Art Online Alicization.
All right. For starters, Yu-Gi-Oh gets fucking denied. Like, he tries to go up to Alice and, like, like, pet her. And then she just, like, freaking, like, just smacks him in the face.
So, Alice said, like, okay, I'm going to take you to the
Central Cathedral.
Yeah, Central Cathedral, and then I'm going to execute you. That should have been at the end of last episode. That would have been such a better cliffhanger.
Right?
Instead of, like, come with me. Yeah. You're not being punished at all.
Yeah, but I actually wonder a little bit here if this is just a setup, like she's doing it, like, for pretense purposes. Like, oh, this is actually going to turn out to be a test of some shit.
I don't think so. At least it looks like that's not what she believes. Because all the I think we've pretty much established that all the Integrity Knights are quote unquote brainwashed to a point. So I'm pretty sure they're bringing him in question, and then they probably actually do plan on executing him.
Yeah.
At least I hope so, because that would add a lot more drama. Not drama, intensity.
I also want to point out that after Yujo gets slapped, and she basically says, hey, if you try touching me again without my permission, I'll cut off your hand. I was thinking, oh, how fitting. Because that's exactly what Yujo did.
I like how all the characters, not including Kirito, they refer to in-game mechanics as if it were their life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm authorized to take off 70% of your life.
Oh, yeah. And then I was actually thinking, oh, they're scheduled to be executed. That actually makes a degree of sense. Don't make sense on me now, Sword Art. You're so good at bullshit. But anyway, what didn't make sense, though, later is when Ronnie and T show up, it's like, here, give our swords back to the people training us. Okay, I can't give swords to criminals, but I'll take them anyway, which makes me think a little bit that, okay, this has to be, like, a setup of some kind.
Oh, yeah, that's true, maybe. Like, I just thought it felt like, well, we have to give their sword back in the plot, so let's give them a reason to have the swords back.
I mean, yeah, which, either way, it's still kind of like, alright, whatever. Let's see where this goes. And then, yeah, this is what I was thinking. Like, is this execution just all a front to test their potential or some shit? I really don't know. Like, because earlier the their teacher Azurica basically said something, you were able to cross a limit that I wasn't before.
You're thinking she knows more than they do?
Yeah. It makes me wonder if anybody who's able to actually break the taboo index actually are the people to become the ones to enforce it or some weird shit like that.
That would be really cool.
It would be. It actually does remind me a little bit of a plot point in Psycho-Pass. You haven't seen Psycho-Pass yet, though, so I won't go too in detail. But then we get a meanwhile back at the ranch.
Well, no, really quick. I want to talk about how Ronnie gave Kirito a bag of lunch.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Alice probably, she probably should have stopped that. I mean, they don't touch on it again.
Wait.
The bag just disappears, I guess.
That's a great point. You're giving a restrained criminal something.
Yeah, I imagine, Ronnie leaning into Kirito's ears is like,
I baked you a cake.
The key is in the cake. Ronnie, that's not how that works.
I don't know. I really don't know. But then we get a meanwhile back at the ranch situation. And then one of the first things that if this were a good show, like Asuna says, if only I could dive into the underworld and rescue. That would be awesome.
I want that. I want that so much. I want Kirito and Yujiro to be the damsels in distress.
That would, yeah.
It'd be fucking Asuna just kicking down the door.
That would be fucking really cool.
I miss badass Asuna. Yeah, I miss her so much from the first season.
I do too, because she has... I liked her in Mother's Rosario.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I liked her a lot in Mother's Rosario because she was actually a character there. But anyway, it did take her a while to realize that she'd bumped into a fucking robot. Like, oh, excuse me. Yeah. Holy shit, that's a robot!
As soon as she said, that's a robot, I just turned around and I was like, well, here comes the face melting.
Yeah.
Like, what did you just call me?
Exterminate.
Scanning.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. Oh my god.
Asuna's dead.
Yeah, Asuna's dead. But that robot. Also, we just get a few minutes of just more techno babble. like about how the robot, like all the intricacies of building this robot. Apparently,
I was actually pretty fascinated by the description of how the robot doesn't move around very well, and part of the reason they want a human, quote unquote soul in the robot's brain is because
it helps
humans automatically have just that balance.
Yeah, that actually I did think was pretty cool. But this is this is sort of like a prototype for the real thing. Like they're making a second version that is supposed to be more humanoid.
Yeah, this situation, it felt better than the other info dumps because it just felt more natural.
Yeah,
it was. I don't remember the doctor's name. The girl.
Yeah, I don't either.
But she seemed to be she wasn't swooning about Kayaba. She was actually working, and we kind of got to see more about her actual personality, which was cool.
Yeah, and then something that did seem a little bit weird to me though is oh, sorry, we're being so rowdy, and Asuna says, "I'm sure Kirito would like it if." I'm sure Kirito likes it when it's a little bit rowdy around him. And I was thinking to myself, wouldn't that be kind of interesting if somehow hearing people in the real world affected his experience in the underworld or something like that? Because if the underworld is supposed to be like a simulated reality, wouldn't it be kind of interesting to see real life events or something, or real life situations actually affecting his artificial reality?
Well,
kind of like Neverending Story does it.
Well, the way with the way the nerve gear, and by extension the whatever cube thing he's in, it blocks all of your outside senses. Yeah, that's why that's why you're able to experience such an immersive reality, is because it literally blocks out everything.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know, I'd actually forgotten about that plot point. I just thought personally that might be kind of interesting if real life shit affected his experience, but again, maybe that was just me thinking of Neverending Story.
You're always on your guard with Sword Art. You can't not be.
Yeah. But
speaking of being on your guard, I want to be absolutely pissed off if the two scientists walked by Asuna and they were all fucking shady looking, and then she was like, "Oh, it looks like she kind of recognized them." I want to be really pissed if those are Laughing Coffin members.
One of them is going to be.
No, I don't want it to happen.
No, it's going to happen.
I hate that they're recycling Laughing Coffin members in every season.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Because oh geez, is the guy with the ponytail and the creepy ass smile another member of Laughing Coffin?
Is he also a rapist?
Yeah, but we're gonna get two of those this season for the price of one.
Speaking of callbacks to other seasons, the tower that they're trying to climbing definitely feels like the World Tree from.
Oh yeah, season 2.
It feels like a recycled plot point kind of.
Yeah, you did say the whole. Oh, meanwhile, not the World Tree.
Yeah, because they had to climb up Kirito had to climb up the tree to save Asuna, and now they have to climb up the tower to save Alice.
Yeah, it's sort of like. It's kind of approaching Bleach levels of recycled plots. Yeah, hey, we need to rescue things. Also, I want to talk about a scene that actually did kind of tick me off. Was Kirito saying when Yu-Gi-Oh was talking about the whole oh man, I can't believe about how I cut off Humbert's arm and how Rios ended up like that. And then Kirito just says, "Don't think about it too much. Don't think about the fact that you dismembered a man, had your eye exploded, your eye fucking exploded. The fact that I brutally, I killed somebody and he brutally died in front of you."
All right. Well, the intentions were good.
Yeah, still,
good intention, poor execution.
Yeah, just still it would have been nice to see a sort of again a little bit of a hey, I know it's hard. I mean, just a little bit of a heart-to-heart, I've killed people too.
Yeah, at least they're being consistent with Kirito's personality.
Yeah, the fact that he's a fucking sociopath. And then
I loved the video game logic of so this isn't something that Yu-Gi-Oh would think of because this is his world. Yeah. But to Kirito, it's a game. Mm-hmm. So when they're locked up and they're like, "Oh, we don't have any weapons to break these chains," and Kirito's like, "Huh, the stats match up. Let me do some quick math. Yep, this number is higher than this number." But I thought that was really clever of just well, we have no weapons to break these chains. Let's just use the chains to break the chains, because they're technically items.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, you'd think it's oh, by the way, it's for starters, the integrity nuts are able to manipulate life. Was this ever mentioned before? Or was it ever mentioned before, or is this being brought up for the first time? I don't recall it ever being mentioned before.
I don't either.
Yeah, apparently, they can manipulate life and therefore can manipulate memories. Fine. but I've never heard of this until now. I also just want to point out, like, why, if that's the case, why didn't they disable their Stacia windows or something? Like, these have to be, like, some of the most incompetent prison guards I think I've ever seen.
Definitely the sleepiest prison guard I've ever seen.
Just, what the hell?
They're like, I mean, the breaking of the chains I can understand not noticing. Like, oh, maybe somebody dropped a spoon or something.
Yeah.
But he fucking busts down a cell door. Like,
how did he do that with a fucking prison chain? Like, how does he bust down a cell door?
I mean, they already explained to the chain thing. It could be like, oh, this chain is as hard as this door, and his skill is high enough, so they busted down the door. Like, fine. It's not really that big of a jump.
Like, couldn't they have made, like, slightly stronger chains or
couldn't they had a less sleepy guard?
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions here.
Yeah. It just, again, it kind of leads up a little bit to the, okay, this is a little bit too convenient. Like, this has to be a setup,
You're thinking the guard heard it, but is just ignoring it?
I'm thinking either that or somebody in the Integrity Knights wanted to test them. That's what I keep thinking. Like, that's the only logical explanation I can give. This has to be a test.
You're protecting yourself?
Yeah.
You're protecting your brain?
Yeah, I'm protecting my brain. But I actually will say, the idea of them, like, fighting with chains and, like, being able to, like, use it to, like, wrap them around people's legs and stuff, that actually would be...
like Castlevania.
Yeah, that would actually be... That's actually would be really cool. Like, I think that's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, hopefully they actually team up against this Integrity Knight guy that showed up, because... Yeah. I hope it's not just like Kirito's like, stay back. Yeah. I got this.
Yeah. I mean, hey, neither of us have our weapons. Let's team up and do this. Nope, I got it. I'm Kirito.
Yeah, hopefully not.
All right. Now, Thunderbolt fantasy. So, the first bit of this, callbacks to the first season, which I'm actually totally cool with.
It definitely seems like Wan Ken-yoon is just showing up as a cameo, though.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
At least it kind of gives a little bit of credence to, oh yeah, this totally takes place in the same world. Like, the past events weren't... This isn't just like a completely new... Like, this isn't just a completely new story.
And it's not something that they haven't done before. It happens, like, constantly in the show, where it's just a character shows up in a place. Mm-hmm. Because this show is very laid out like a play, where it's just different scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
You have the character showing up to that scene, and that scene, and that scene.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it wasn't that crazy having him show up, and it was kind of a cool callback to the first season.
I agree. Like, I didn't think it was bad. Like, I was just pointing it out because, hey, yeah, that totally happened.
And now, Shang doesn't have to puppy guard the index.
For a week.
Index. Yeah.
For a week, being the caveat. Because
it should be more than enough time.
Yeah, more than enough time to kill Lo, hopefully.
There's only a week left for us to watch. It works perfectly.
All right.
My favorite part of this episode was Lin Juya's transition from smugness. Because when
to just being totally pissed off.
Yeah, when the hunting fox shows up, like, he was all like in despair, and this was like what Lin Juya lives for.
Yeah,
like,
this is what the Gale loves to do. He likes to put criminals in situations, completely break their spirit, so they won't be criminals anymore.
Yeah, it's essentially what happened. Is you're a farmer, and you're cultivating your crops all year. You got this big crop you're going to sell, and you're going to be rich. Mm-hmm. And then it all just dies. It all goes bad.
Yeah, and it just kind of breaks it's like, well, what's the point of even doing this? I mean, but it kind of lends a little bit of an idea that maybe he's not the best at doing that, because the past 2 times he has tried this, it's always blown up in his face.
What was the one before this?
The guy from the first season.
Yeah, was it like the main bad guy or something?
Yeah, the main bad guy from the first season, he decided, nope, I'm still going to summon a demon god anyway. And then
I mean, it's obviously he has a reputation, so he's obviously done it tons of times before.
I'm just saying, just in the context of the series, well, apparently he's not that great at this, because the past 2 times he's like woefully miscalculated his. He
tried at the end, and that's like he slowly turned to desperation, like. Well, I mean, maybe you could get away with it. Like, you should try harder. Like, don't just give up.
Yeah. And then what the best part about this is just, like, how fucking pissed off he was about this.
He just throws a fit.
Yeah, just don't talk to me about him anymore. Like, I don't even want to hear his name.
I was actually I really liked the direction they took with the Hunting Fox, though. He didn't, like, throw it's very different than normal villains, how they do, like, throw the fit and they freak out. But he was just like,
you know what?
What are you going to do?
Like, you know what? I'll just make the best out of a terrible situation.
It's like, I mean, of course I'm going to fucking do whatever I can to worm out of this. I'm a shitty person.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
So, yeah, basically, it's like, basically makes Lin question his beliefs, I think, with the whole, why even bother have pride as a criminal? You're a fucking criminal.
Yeah.
What does it matter? Why even bother having pride?
What kind of person would go around bragging about their pride?
Exactly.
Which seemed like a very big jab.
Yeah, no kidding.
When we talked about earlier how their conversation seemed like a chess game, and this just dropped all pretenses pretty much.
Yeah, and just pretty much like, it's sort of like just like the hunting fox just throwing the fucking board out of the way.
Yeah, because he even said like, oh good, now I don't have to pretend to be a pompous a government official anymore.
Yeah, he can just be the person he truly is, which is just a complete fucking lowlife.
Yep.
But a
true to himself lowlife.
Yeah, exactly. One of the other really cool parts of this was the fight between Lo and Lang. Yeah. That is the right names, right? Lo, the guy with the 7 blasphemous deaths, and Lang, the bard.
I don't remember his new name!
I'm pretty sure it's Lo. Okay. But anyway, that was a really cool like fight because, once again, the 7 blasphemous deaths is afraid of this guy because he was able to counter her before. Like, somebody who doesn't have to actually look at her takes away like a good portion of her power.
Like 90% of her power, pretty much.
Exactly. But then changes quite substantially when you have somebody who's actually competent and knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, it was a very simple solution, but a very effective one.
Yeah, so you don't rely on your eyes. Well, that's great. If you use your eyes too often, of course you're going to rely on them. However, the same can be said if you rely on your ears too much. So I'm just going to throw rocks around to fuck with...
Oh, man. The attention to detail when he was rolling away and picking up a rock every now and then, that was so good.
And then he freaking just gets this really, like, big slash on him. And then just, good lord, it just goes to show that this guy and the 7 blasphemous death along with him is just freaking absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, the puppetry for Lang, whenever he swings Ryoga around, it fucking blows me away every time. How he like so smoothly flips it around his body and shit. Like,
no kidding, it is so cool.
It makes me wonder if they do that in slow motion or.
Maybe.
I don't understand how they could use puppetry to swing that around so perfectly.
Yeah, and how it like transforms and shit. Yeah, it's so...
Well, the transformation scene is that partly
makes sense.
Like they probably do that in not necessarily stop motion.
Yeah.
But like they probably do it in segments.
Yeah, I imagine so. All the same, it's still just like, wow, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I know that later, Lang and Lee, the enigmatic Gale, they meet up with each other later. Lang, like, he actually saves his life, which is actually blows Ryoga, you said the Peepa's name was?
Ryoga, yeah.
Yeah, and it just blows him away.
Lin.
Yeah.
Lin, not Lee.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Lin. It blows him away that he freaking just saved his life because, hey, this is a person who they don't trust in the slightest. But, you know...
It probably helps that Lin was in a very upset mood.
Yeah, just like, you know what? It's just, again, the whole, I don't even want to talk about him right now.
I'll send him away to be bird food. That's the kind of mood I'm in right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he threw him a broken bird whistle and then had him get taken away. Now,
I'm assuming he probably, like, chipped it and then threw it at him.
Yeah.
How many of those does he have?
Yeah. I don't know. When you're and then of course, when you're accepting a gift, be sure you know what it is first. That kind of defeats the purpose of a gift.
Yeah.
I mean,
kind of a little bit of a callback to what he did to the hunting fox.
Yeah, no kidding. But then, just like the enigmatic, or not the enigmatic Gale, the fucking 7 blasphemous deaths. It's just like, just place me against his spine. I will take control of it and allow you to get down further. Well,
no, she didn't take control. I thought she was going to, like, take control. She fucked up its nervous system, which made it so it couldn't do anything but keep flying. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, well, eventually it'll get tired, so then it'll land.
Yeah.
Like, I thought she was going to be like, initiating, or assuming direct control.
Yeah.
Stab in and then just take control.
No kidding. I thought that's what was going to happen, too.
Couldn't they just, like, hold it out in front of the bird?
Maybe. I don't know.
Control it? I don't know.
Maybe it only works on people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be intelligent enough, maybe?
Yeah, like certain like spells in D&D.
Yeah.
But then I remember Lang trying to get Lee to actually like do something about Lo or something, but I don't know. He's just like, nah, I don't want to deal with that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's like, well, we have to. He has a sword.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he's going there.
Yeah, he's going over there. That's not my problem.
I'm not going to fucking deal with it, but also here's where he's going.
Yeah, just, go ahead. You take care of it. So, which makes me wonder if him, Shang, and Lang are all going to show up later and fight him. They're going to have to, I imagine.
It's probably going to be those three, because, like, they're in the opening in that pose.
Yeah, exactly.
And they haven't been in a fight together.
Yeah.
Like, all together anyways. Like, Lang and Shang have been together, and Lang and Lin have been together, but like none of them, they haven't formed the team yet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We've got one more episode of awesome puppetry. Let's
there's the last part of the episode I want to talk about real quick, because the hunting fox shows up at the fortress.
Oh yeah,
with the puppet sword.
Oh yeah, that's right. The morning death or something like that.
Yeah,
or night of mourning.
He goes in and everyone pulls their swords on him. They have him surrounded. And he's just like, haha, yeah. And he makes one person a puppet, and then everyone's just like, oh no, what do we do?
I don't know.
Maybe attack him while he's attacking that guy.
Yeah, it's sort of like that monkey's got a sword. You idiots! We've all got swords.
Exactly. Although they did a really good job puppeteering the guy's fear.
Yeah.
He was just like stumbled back. It's like, oh, fuck!
Yeah, again, like, it just goes without saying, the puppetry in the show is fucking amazing, but...
I'm assuming it's like the puppet people are supposed to look a lot more terrifying than they do, like, to us.
Yeah.
From an outside perspective.
Maybe. Probably.
So it's probably like really, it was like seeing someone fucking their face mutate and...
Ugh, yeah, I can imagine so.
Because to us, it's just like it's done.
Pretty much. Yeah. But, I mean, you can't really show that with puppets.
So, last up is Zombieland Saga.
I fucking called it.
Yeah.
I fucking called it.
She got reverse amnesia.
Yeah, reverse amnesia.
She lost all of her memories of the now and got all of her old memories back.
Yep. I don't entirely know how that works, but I guess like hitting somebody with a car twice.
Yeah, it's fine. It just fixes it.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm having a hard time remembering things from my childhood. Maybe I'll just step out into traffic and get hit by a car and see how that works for me. Anyway.
So the title of the episode is Good Morning Again Saga, I think it's called?
No, that's going to be next week's episode.
Oh, is it next week's episode?
Because next week, because that's supposed to be
that's right.
The final episode, because the first episode was called Good Morning Saga.
Yeah, well, okay, I got confused, because this episode was a lot like it started like the first episode.
Oh yeah, like where she wakes up in the like kind of House of the Dead sort of situation, and then Tai fucking attacks her.
So, I don't think Tai was attacking her, I think Tai... Because she's, like, kind of getting what emotions are now. I think she was going to check on Sakura because Sakura finally woke up, and she was just checking on Sakura to make sure she was okay.
Yeah. I mean, but to her, it looked like it attacked.
Yeah, because Tai was just on her, like, ah!
Yeah. And then, what's even, again, so many funny callbacks to the first episode here, because, like... When Sakura, like, goes into the room and then she, like, sees all of them again, she, like, picks up a fucking car antenna or something like before, and then...
A fire poker.
Yeah, and one of them just, like, covers their head.
I immediately... Like, she doesn't remember it, because she wasn't human at that point, or she didn't have a human brain at that point. But as soon as she picks up, just fucking PTSD kicks in. She's just like, oh, shit!
She's like, oh, crap!
Yeah, that was, like, my favorite detail of this episode.
It was so funny. Like, I actually saw that, I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious. But of course, like, the majority of this episode was just basically showing how depressing of a life Sakura has had at this point. Like, because she's, like, we didn't really have much context for her. She was just, like, happy, bubbly girl, like, in the first episode.
Who also got ran over.
Yeah, very suddenly and violently. But yeah, then we got all this context, basically how every time she has wanted something and every time she's, like, worked super hard for it, It just has always, like, gone awry.
Yeah, which it makes her getting ran over a lot heavier because she's beaten down for her whole adolescent life, and she finally is like, all right.
Ever since she was a kid, too. Like,
yeah.
when she was, like, in 4th grade or something is when shit like that started happening.
And then she's thinking, like, all right, I'll give it one more shot. Like, I'm going to do my best, and maybe something good will happen this time. Fucking gets ran over. Like, that's gotta hurt so bad.
Yeah, it really has to, because...
the world's pretty much... At that point, you're like, the world's pretty much telling me to fuck off. Like, I should never try again at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much what she thinks, because she remembers getting ran over now, and it's just like, if that isn't a sign to give up, then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And, again, it's super upsetting, but... like you pointed out while we were watching it, it just seems like part of it is Sakura's... part of it at least has to be somewhat Sakura's fault, because she always...
yeah.
Because she always, like, tried too hard. She never really gave herself a moment to just enjoy the journey or anything like that. She always, like, put so much emphasis on it, so she saw the success more than she saw, like, the journey to getting there.
Yeah, she got sick because she always tired herself out.
Yeah,
worked
exactly.
way too hard. Like, when she was running, she always had sprained muscles because she was practicing too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And this happened in the mountains too, where she was practicing a lot by herself. And
yeah,
she was way gung-ho about training, and then
it just kind of shows that part of her never really changed, even if she lost her memories.
And the same exact thing happened. Like, as soon as she didn't get ran over because she tried too hard, but it was just that exact same scenario of her trying really hard at something and then immediately failing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that was just a freak accident. That wasn't her fault, which just but given how everything had just been kind of leading up to her, it's no wonder she doesn't believe that. But I think it's interesting. She never really had much of a life really to enjoy before. And this is actually, ironically, a second chance. Like, for her to actually enjoy that life.
After she dies.
Yeah, exactly. But,
enjoy her death.
Exactly. Enjoy her unlife, I guess. I don't know.
So there's a little... When Kotaro was in the bar, talking with his probably old friend, the guy brought up... He's like, oh, what's that project you're working on? He was like, oh, is it like the original Zombie Village Hizen's Highway Dream Project? It's like, that's... I already thought the title was long enough. Like, Jesus Christ, if that was it.
Yeah. But then
it turns out... the Zombieland Saga project. He's like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, oh yeah, that one. That makes sense. But just, Jesus Christ.
Or not the title of the show. Like, the episode names are usually really long.
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, I don't know. Really, the only episode name we'd really seen that was really long was the Saki-centric episode.
Well, the episode names are usually, like, sentences, aren't they?
Like Good Morning Saga or...
Oh, I guess they're not, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
But I think that it was really nice to see, like, everybody just trying to cheer Sakura up, trying to get her out of her funk, and then failing horrendously. And then Yukiri trying to go all out, like, wearing her full geisha attire.
Yeah, how long did she take putting that on? Because she had the makeup, she had her hair jungle.
Yeah.
She had all the clothes on.
And she was, like, even, like, taking her time walking up the stairs.
And it apparently took her long enough for Sakura to just leave.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, it's just hilarious. Like, everybody tried to cheer her up in her own way. Basically, Saki tried to be brash and loud and just say, snap out of it.
Smack the shit out of her.
Lily basically tried to play the, hey, look how cute I am, don't you feel sorry for me card.
I'm 12 forever.
Yeah, I'm gonna be 12 forever. And then, of course, you were expecting, like, Tai to be the one, ironically, to save the day. Like, she finally talks or something.
Let's see. Yeah. Probably. That's what I thought was gonna happen. Like, it might happen next episode, but I'm pretty sure Kotaro already sweeped in with that.
Yeah. I want to also point out, like, Kotaro... Of course Kotaro's going to be the one to save the day, because at the end of the day, he may not show it, he kind of does care for these girls at this point. He doesn't see them just as his tools. At least he's given that impression at this point.
Yeah, he's definitely passionate.
Yeah.
I love how he breaks the trope of, like, well, I guess I'll leave now. And she's like, I guess I'm sad. And he's like, you thought I was going to leave now?
You thought I was going to leave, but it was I, Kotaro.
Oh, I was kind of expecting you to be like, stupid zombie!
Yeah, pretty much. I was expecting that. But no, there was none of that. Just, like,
I've got what it takes. I've got this big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, Kotaro being as vague as possible because I get the impression he just wings most of his plans anyway. Like, at least when it comes to the girls. Like, when it comes to actually setting up idol stuff, again, he's fairly competent.
He's a good businessman. That's for sure.
But when it comes to actually dealing with the girls and how to run them and stuff like that, actually managing them, it seems like he just wings most of his plans.
Yeah.
Like the whole Arpino Mountains thing. You gotta climb the mountain inside yourself.
Yeah. Fucking love that character. It's my favorite part of the show, no question.
Kotaro is easily the best part of the show. He cemented that in episode 2.
Yeah.
When he just started fucking beatboxing. Yeah. Which, I want to point out something really quick, kind of unrelated to this episode. So, the dub for Zombieland Saga is out. Yeah.
Pissed me off.
No kidding. Because I was expecting to hear the rap in English. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But nope. They just kept it in Japanese.
We checked out the rap scene because, like we said, it would have been cool to hear the English voice actors kind of adapt it.
Yeah.
But it just cut to the Japanese, which is like, I mean, I understand why they do it for the performances.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see this as that kind of situation, but I also understand that it's difficult to adapt, I'm sure.
Yeah, every, that's pretty common in stuff like Love Live and K-On! And stuff like that.
It's probably even harder with rap, because not only are there the lip flaps, there's also
you have to make sure it fucking rhymes.
Yeah, the rhymes, the rhythm, the lip flaps, the meter.
Oh, God. No kidding. It just seems like it was disappointing, but I can understand why.
I was looking forward to hearing
Brina
Palencia.
Yeah, Brina Palencia fucking busted a rap.
Yeah.
That'd have been awesome. But anyway, so back to the actual episode. Like, Kotaro, again, like, saving the day. I don't know. We've got, like, less than a week until the show. Like, until the final show at Arpino.
The 500-person show.
Yeah, which Sakura is gonna have to get out of her funk somehow.
She was looking really defiantly at Kotaro when he's like, "I'm not giving up on you." I'm not sure if that was confidence or like she wants to get back into it.
Yeah.
But they were staring each other down, that's for sure, and that's where the episode cut off.
It's actually an interesting callback to the first episode, because when Kotaro gave her like the "I believe in you" speech before, she's like, "That doesn't make any sense," and she was sort of like awkward about it. But I don't know. Like, we'll see where it comes. Like next week, it's the stunning conclusion.
Yeah, lots of conclusions next week. Not all the conclusions, but
yeah, I'm gonna be sad.
So, that's it for week 11 of fall 2018. Just a reminder, we still have that giveaway going on.
Yeah, that'll be ending Wednesday. So
3 p.m. on Wednesday Pacific Standard Time. So if you haven't entered yet, go do that. It's for a $25 Right Stuff anime gift card, which it will. I'm almost positive that's going to be. Whoever wins it will get it before the Right Stuff holiday sale ends.
Yeah.
Which you can get lots of fucking crazy deals.
Yeah. Right Stuff.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by Right Stuff.
Yeah, as I said on the last one, because
I'm
sure someone will think we're shilling somehow.
No, we're not. We are doing this just because we want to thank the people who are who have been subscribing to us and have been watching us all this time. Really means a lot, you guys. Like, we don't have a lot of subscribers, but we think we are actually...
We'll be idle someday!
Yeah, we'll be idle someday! We'll be running in the Hakone Ekiden someday!
Yeah. Anyway, cringy speeches aside.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming this week. We'll see you guys next week for the finale, kind of, for most shows.
Yeah, we'll see you then for the finale for most shows. We'll probably be doing a week 13 for the final thing, and eventually we'll be going on to our season wrap-up. Like, just ultimately what our favorite show was, what our least favorite show was, and stuff that we enjoyed the most, and stuff like that. So look forward to that, guys.
Yep. See you guys next week.
Yep. See you next week. Till then.
Bye.
Take care of yourselves.